Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my podcast, and I appreciate you being here. If you haven't heard, Turner Dairy Farms, the creators of Turner's Premium Iced Tea and a long list of limited edition flavored milks, has some new hitters out. If you go to turnerdairy.net, you could find a whole store full of brand new 50th anniversary merch, and you could find a store locator which will put you onto the brand new collaboration with Page's Dairy. Turner Dairy Farms and Page's Dairy in the South Side teamed up to bring a chocolate milkshake limited edition flavored milk that is now available. Again, if you want to know where you could grab it, slide on down to turnerdairy.net, find the store locator in the top right, hit your zip code, and then you'll find a whole list of stores that will plug you into some of the best shit you'll ever have. Now, the reason that everyone is here this week, I sit down with a very special guest. His name is Kevin Resnik. He is a McKeesport local. McKeesport, for people that do not know, is a near and dear place to my heart, or place in my heart, rather. But I was born in McKeesport, went to school in McKeesport up until 6th grade. My brother graduated from McKeesport, so I got some ties over there. A lot of friends, stuck with them over the years, but I always love to hear about a local person doing some great shit. What is better than someone local doing some great things for the community? So, how I came across Kevin. Kevin runs CCR Gardens, that is McKeesport local. He runs it with his wife, Megan, and their two sons, Carter and Cole. And they've been doing this since 2018 officially. They are a market garden, meaning they grow a surplus of plants, vegetables, and, sell it to the community. The reason that I came across them is I remember I was going to my brother's house, and randomly I would walk into my brother's kitchen and he would just have like this cardboard box, and I'd go look into this box and it's just filled with like all kinds of random delicious vegetables, like random shit, but like really, really great stuff. And I'm like, why do you just have a box full of like, fresh vegetables? And he was like, well, in fact, I subscribe to this CSA, and a CSA basically is a subscription that you could get with a local garden. If you're local to McKeesport, or, if you're in the surrounding areas, CCR offers one. You can go to ccrgardens.com, but it's a subscription where each week you will pick up a box of fresh seasonal vegetables that you could implement in your meals throughout the week and, kind of give back to the community. Kevin and his wife Megan do a lot of great stuff. Each and every year their garden expands bigger and bigger, and they're doing a lot of cool things over in McKeesport. Oddly enough, their grounds where they grow everything was really like a stone's throw away from where my first house where I spent a lot of my time. And it's wild because it's like I grew up there. I drove past this this no man's land for many years, but now they bought this place and they're just expanding this garden and doing all kinds of great stuff. So this week, me and Kevin sit down, we talk about how him and his wife Megan kind of took this hobbyist green thumb that they had and turned it into a business. And it's pretty awesome. I took some listener questions from all you guys some topics on what you want to kind of learn about. And I gathered that people wanted to learn about composting, what kind of shit that can they grow in a small area, kind of the best way. So this episode is filled with a lot of knowledge as well. We touch on all these questions, and me and Kevin just chop it up about growing up in McKeesport and how he kind of got to where he is. And it's a great episode. Hooked me up with some hot sauce. We try that on air, and it's just another great week with another great person in our community. And I'm proud of that, and I'm excited. Kevin and his wife right now are currently doing a seedling sale. So you can go to ccrgardens.com right now, and you could go on there and pre-order all these different seedlings that they offer. And whenever I mean like all of these, that's very broad. Like you can go on there and you'll find pretty much anything you could think of. Go on there, add them all to your cart. You could pay for it there. They'll set them aside for you. And the weekend of the 7th, I think that's the weekend of it, 6th and the 7th. I'm going to look at the calendar right now. Yeah, 7th and 8th, but you can go and pick it up there. The proceeds from this seedling sale. So the reason that they even started this, Kevin's mother was diagnosed with MS back a few years back. So they started this in order to like kind of help raise funds for Walk MS. But like, so a portion of that goes to the Walk MS Foundation, or fundraiser, foundation, whatever technical jargon you want to implement there. But the rest of it goes back into, expanding their garden and creating a bigger and better area to provide great, delicious vegetables to all of us. So I'm going to quit talking your ear off. Without further ado, episode 204 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Kevin Resnik of CCR Gardens.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. All right, here we are. Are you nervous about this?
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, you don't got to be nervous. You could tell that you're obviously into it. People that come over, they're like, like never did this, kind of nervous. Like, I don't know what to expect, but I don't know. I feel like people build it up way more than it is.
It was funny because I texted back and forth with you, and I'm asking you, okay, which one should I listen to? What broadcast or what podcasts should I check out? And you're like, Sally Wiggin and Gensel from the Penguins. And I'm like, oh, great. So he names two reporters who that's all they do is talk for their life. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to live up to that.
Well, I mean, like I've talked to a dude who he dug graves. He didn't have social media, nothing. He just, one day I was just like, I'm curious about the person who digs the grave to put a coffin in.
Yeah, that's cool.
And went on Facebook. I was like, does anyone know anyone that works at a cemetery? This dude named Dan Dobies, he started working there with his uncle when he was 14. I interviewed him whenever he was 30. He's been working there for 16 years. He just has a dog, keeps to himself, shoots archery on there, and just chills. Lives on the grounds.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. It was just a cool cool talk.
Holes.
Yeah, but that dude, like, you had to peel him away like onion. Like, he had no idea what he was getting into. But
Right.
But like I said, I have no, like, this is very relaxed. McKeesport dude, just, we're just
Right.
out here just in the trenches trying to make some shit happen. But you are, I mean, I don't really know too much about you. I know that you got the garden first, CCR.
Yeah.
What's it mean?
So CCR is my wife came up with the name for our company. That's our two kids, Carter and Cole.
Oh, okay.
So Carter and Cole Resnik.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because we're thinking about this, turning our garden into something business wise, and we're thinking about different ideas, different names, and stuff like that. And she just comes up to me one day and she's like, I want to include the kids somehow. So let's do CCR. And I just start busting out laughing. She's like, what's
Crean's Clearwater.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
my parents, my mom and dad, they listen to all that old
That's their
music,
times.
and we do too. So, but my full-time job is an engineer.
Yeah.
A civil engineer.
Now, civil engineer, you've been doing that for a long time?
Yeah, since I graduated, I went to Penn State. For agricultural and biological engineering.
Wow.
Focused in natural resources, and I got a job right out of school with GAI consultants down on the waterfront, and civil engineering. So what I do currently now there is I work on with power plants.
Yeah.
We mostly do landfills, and the landfills, the coal ash that they put into the landfills.
Yeah.
The name for that is CCR, coal combustion residuals. So she says CCR, and I'm like, this is hysterical. I can't wait to tell all my guys at work. Like,
meant to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna start my little side business. so I say I work at CCR during the day and CCR at night. So
that's it's cool that you're able to want to kind of. I mean, engineering it ain't a bad job to have. You're obviously able to pay your bills. So, you being a gardener full time, or not full time, but, on top of all this is passion project. I'm sure it starts out as.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious, like before we get into all the gardening and everything, I'm curious about, kind of about you in the respect of if you had any gardening, any green thumb growing up.
My grandfather on my dad's side, he was notorious for having like the most beautiful garden. He had like gorgeous irises that people would come from all over the place to get, even to just see his irises when they were in bloom.
Yeah.
And, he would share some of them with other people. So his irises are all over the place. And, my parents, nothing. I mean,
nothing.
No. I mean, they never really had much of a garden other than sometimes they'd have like a little patio thing with herbs and stuff on the side.
Skips a generation.
Oh yeah, they say that. I mean, they say that with a lot of stuff, but I guess when I was a teenager, I would start wanting to grow some stuff. And
you did whenever you were a teenager? Because like I asked that because like I never gave a shit about any of it. I didn't really. If I had to go rototill my garden or anything like that for my dad, it would be a hassle.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to plant anything. I didn't really care about I didn't reap the benefits of it really.
Right.
Whenever I was younger, I didn't really think about stuff like that. But now I'm a little bit older and I'm becoming obsessed. Like this weekend,
Sure.
I'm about to get crazy on this property, started growing stuff last year. And like, I got the bite, and now I'm just like I want to go full tilt with it.
Yeah, we might have to go outside. I'll give you some.
For real, like this. That's what this is going to be. This is me just asking you all the stuff that I need to know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, like I started with that. I guess my mom she liked to have some stuff, so she kind of got me like started.
But you weren't like from a family that had like a huge greenhouse or nothing.
No, we grew up in White Oak.
Yeah,
like by the pool, if you know where that's.
Oh yeah, Heritage Pool.
Yeah. I mean, we had a small.
That place still open?
Yeah.
Is it? You frequent there?
No.
Last time I was there, I think I was playing soccer with my brother and a couple other people when I stepped on a bee. I was like, that's probably it.
Yeah. We take the kids up there for the community day. They go and see fireworks and stuff like that. But
it looks like they built that up good. They got like a hockey rink up there and stuff now, right?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
White Oak. So
McKeesport. Yeah. So
great area. You're still living there?
Yeah. So we went to Penn State. My wife and I, or she was my girlfriend then.
Yeah.
We're both from White Oak, McKeesport area.
What year did you graduate?
2004 high school.
So are you 36?
Yeah, I just turned 37 a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You weren't in my brother's grade?
Who, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he was
a year, 2 years older than you?
A year or 2 years older than me.
Yeah. Small world. You're the reason. He was the reason that I first heard about you guys.
Yeah.
He started getting that CSA, and then he said that you guys had this big area up by, because we grew up right on Marshall Drive.
Yeah.
And
I know when you said that, I was like, wow.
I know it's a small world because that property over there was just kind of.
We're on Marshall Drive. So.
I know. Well, that property was just like kind of like just a random, no man's land kind of. Yep. I mean, I drove past there my entire life, and I think I was down in that area a couple times.
Right.
I think I went from Lincoln Way all the way up maybe one time whenever I was super young, but once I started seeing your videos of what you guys have built up there, I was like kind of blown away by it because I never really realized what was up there.
Yeah. That used to be the shortcut for everybody to get from 48 up to Marshall and Sarah High School. And
stuff doing all that.
We still get people that.
Do people still go up there?
Oh yeah, they still drive through.
Oh, I didn't know if there was. We
have it blocked off. But sometimes you
make it
the
up
cones
there.
moved or whatever, and they start up the hill, and they're like, "Well, we're here. We're just going to go." And zoom past us.
Just figuring out where it goes.
Yeah.
Now I was reading a little bit of your bio. Like I kind of want to know how you said you and your wife went to Penn State.
Yep.
And obviously stayed in the area, and then gardening was just kind of what you did at your house. You just had a little garden at home at first, and you said it kept growing bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, I mean, like the story that we always say is every single year we double our garden space, and that started from our apartment at Penn State. We had a little balcony, and we had a container that was maybe half the size of this table here. And we tried packing like
all kinds of stuff.
We tried growing corn, like
on a balcony.
On a balcony. I'm like, I'm going to grow everything in here.
So I'm going to be interrupting you this whole time because I got all these people that submitted questions. And one of the questions was, what are some things you could grow on a patio or smaller area? And I mean, since we're talking about it, it's obviously fitting.
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff were you growing there that you were able to do in that little bit of an area?
Don't do corn.
Did it work? Was it successful?
Not the corn, no.
Can you grow baby corn up there, you think?
I mean, the problem with corn is you need a big space because it needs to pollinate.
Yeah.
So with corn, every single kernel of corn has to be pollinated by the tassels off top. So the silks that come off the corn, each one of those silks is a kernel. It's tied to the kernel. So those silks have to collect the pollen from the top parts of the corn. So the top parts fall off and they blow in the wind. And so corn has to have, like they say if you're planting corn, I know your question was about balconies, but
that's all right. That's crazy.
They say if you're planting corn, you need like it's better to grow it in like a big square.
Yeah.
Instead of like a row.
Yeah.
Because you get more chance for the pollination.
Oh, that would make sense then.
Yeah. But yeah, so don't grow corn for whoever asked that question. But I mean, patio gardens, or if you got a small area, if you're growing in containers, peppers are great. Peppers are super easy.
Yeah, they weren't too difficult for me.
No, peppers are pretty simple.
We were going to put right up on our deck just an herb garden.
Yeah, herbs.
Like a couple like balcony planters,
right?
And kind of just like something that you could keep small and that you're not going to like suffocate in that small area.
My biggest suggestion is grow what you like.
Yeah.
So like even if it's something that's not perfectly suited for container gardening, but you're going to like it, then you're going to take better care of it.
That's a good point, I guess.
What
did you guys grow at first?
I mean, we always had tomatoes. Always had some kind of herbs, like 4 or 5 different herbs growing. Peppers, I really like super hot peppers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess early on it's most of that stuff. Cucumbers we tried; they take up a lot of space. Zucchini and stuff like that take up a lot of space.
The typical things that
the typical stuff that, like, I mean, we would buy
nothing crazy though.
Nothing crazy. I mean, we would just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and either buy the plants or try seed.
Now, are you mainly growing vegetables or you're growing flowers?
We do a little bit of cut flowers, sunflowers, and some different perennials that we'll do cut flowers and do bouquets and stuff at the market.
I assume that's like a whole different process.
It can be, yeah. We try to simplify our process as much as possible. So like our beds are all standard size.
What does that mean?
Like our garden beds. So our farm it's not just like rows of plants. We have like individual beds.
Yeah, but whenever you say standard size, what is a standard size of a garden bed?
Okay. So like the way that we grow, they call it like intensive market gardening. And it's actually like based in France, where they had very limited space in their garden plots,
and they're trying to yield as much as they can.
They're on hill. A lot of times they're really hilly. So what they do is they build up these raised beds that not like wooden raised beds, but just
some mounds of dirt.
Just mounds of dirt.
Yeah.
And ours are 30 inches wide, and there's a pathway between each about 16 or 18 inches in between each bed. So we try to, every single bed is the same width, is the same length. The pathways are the same width apart from each other. So
very uniform. Very
uniform, because we're using a lot of different things. So we're using like tarps to cover up the beds, to kill weeds and stuff like that. Because we're not certified organic, but we grow all naturally.
Yeah.
So, we're using tarps, we're using row cover, we're using, our irrigation lines are all the same length, so we can just move them wherever we want, wherever on the whole entire property.
Yeah. So you're playing it smart. So so you could, pull things in and out, puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What now, I mean, I'm curious, like how you guys go from wanting to just do this as a hobby at your house, just for, dinner, and what you're eating, to kind of making a business out of it. Like what makes you want to grow to that?
I mean, I think it just happened. Like it goes back to that doubling our space every year. So, we started with that one little thing at Penn State, and the next year it was 2 of those. And then the year after that, it was, okay, we got 4 or 5 raised beds. And then, I mean, literally every single year for the past, it's been, 15 years or so now that we have doubled our space.
You've been hardcore gardening for 15 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wow. I mean, we're up to a little over an acre total right now. So
wow.
And it's not just an acre of corn. It's
all different things.
It's all different things and tight. Yeah.
I was looking at your website, and you guys have a crazy amount of stuff on there.
Yeah.
I was blown away by it all. I didn't really know what to expect, but whenever I assumed that you had this garden in Haler Heights, I was like, oh, this is, they're having fun growing something, giving people a box of veggies every once in a while. And then I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, like you got a crazy amount of peppers on here. And I haven't really delved in any other growing yet, but peppers were just easy for me. My mother-in-law got me that raised bed out there. Mm-hmm. Simple to just put a few in there, and they just started like producing crazy.
Yep.
But so for you to, kind of expand, how do you acquire that property up there?
So we bought our house there up in Haler Heights in 2016 or 15, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And, when we were looking for a house, we were looking for a little bit of land, not anything crazy.
Yeah.
So we bought that house, and it was like an acre. So, it was a nice piece, but we started getting that urge to
kind of go nuts.
Yeah. Go nuts. And we're like, man, this is like kind of hampering us. Like, so we were actually looking. We were looking for land somewhere a little further out, like Westmoreland area, somewhere maybe even out here,
Yeah. Was there anything in where you are now?
Where
the garden is now? Like was there anything ever up there?
So we had always looked back there, and we're like, yeah, we knew it was just empty land and wasn't really being used and all that stuff. And we didn't know who owned it. We didn't know anything about it really, but we had a letter written, drafted up, that we were going to send to the guy that owns the property.
Yeah.
And we're like him hawing and kind of like half-assing this. And all of a sudden I'm up at Erie fishing. It was about this time, actually, May, 2017. And Meg texted me, and she's like, "You'll never believe what property is for sale." And she's on Zillow. She was just looking because she's on Zillow.
Yeah.
She's still on Zillow all the time.
I know. I look all the time. Just bought this house. I look all the time.
Right? and she's like, the property behind us is for sale. And I'm like, shit.
How big is that area?
So we bought 20 acres.
20 acres? Yeah. That's how big that is.
A lot of it's woods, but yeah.
Jeez.
It's like half woods and half cleared.
Wow.
So
I didn't realize how big that space was back there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's down in the bowl too. So
so Ian's got all that.
Yeah.
That's the best.
When you're down there, you really feel like you're
secluded.
Yeah. You're like in the Laurel Highlands or something.
Yeah. That video that I was watching, you guys, whenever you were showing all the snow, I was like, man, it's so weird to like see that all back there because you don't see anything around it. You look like you're in, middle of nowhere.
Right. Yeah. So our house is like right up along the edge of that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
just happenstance that just started to go for sale.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was the day that it came up, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. Cause I was fishing early in the morning.
Yeah.
So she texted me, she calls me, and I'm like, well, we got to do something.
Yeah. Immediately.
Yeah. So I had been fishing for like 2 hours. So I thought it was like a little later in the day. So I'm like on the phone I called the real estate agent at like 7:30. This is probably earlier than that, actually. Called the real estate agent, and I called her like 3 times.
Honestly, it doesn't even surprise me.
And like 7:45, she finally answers, and she's like, "What can I help you with?" And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well,
but there's this property that we are very interested in, and we
are trying to do something.
And
right
we didn't have cash. I mean, we have
I
we
mean
have some money, but
not everyone just has lump sum.
you
just
buy
like
land, you
there.
have to pay cash, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's not like you could take a loan out for that. So
Yeah.
So we're like scrambling on that end. Like, okay, how can we
finesse this?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that with land. Buying land, you can't just get a loan on that.
So we
Made it happen.
We strangled some money together, and I guess the next day probably we met with Jim Fawcett Trucking. He's the guy that owned the property, and unfortunately he's passed away since then. But he met with us and showed us the property, and he was like the greatest guy.
Yeah. Did he do anything with it before?
No, he had. I think he had always had like backup plans to potentially turn that into some like row homes.
Okay.
Kinda
I
like
guess that would make sense.
Yeah, because it's actually like the valley's the same size as some of the other
the other places
roads that have
right on
houses.
Cool Springs and
it's
stuff.
It's exactly the same size as Cool Springs Valley.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of immediately.
Yep.
Man, I never thought about that. That's pretty wild to think that like that area was that big up there and it just was never really utilized.
Yeah. So he showed me the property. He was trying to show me some of the survey markers and stuff like that because he knew I was an engineer. And he thought I was really interested. I'm like, I don't really care so much about that. I'm like, just like I just want to shake your hand and
let's do it.
And then we made the verbal agreement, and he shook my hand and he said. And I'm like, I'm still worried. I'm like in the back of my head, like there's people going to be making offers on this.
$1,000,000%. Whenever I bought this house, I never had more, just anxiety because, these are the biggest decisions of your life, basically. Mm-hmm. And you have to make them on a drop of a hat because there's 10 other people behind you with, cash sometimes that are going to buy shit out from over your head.
So you just bought this house
we bought this in December, not this past December, but the one before that. And we literally looked for 2 years before that. Yeah. And obviously the pandemic happened, but it was just chaos because, people were selling these terrible houses for $300,000. And you're like, what, how can anyone even deal with this?
Yeah.
You were going to buy this house and have to put all this money into it to fix it. But the whole real estate, it's stressful to me because everything is so quick.
I know.
It's like, oh, let's make these hundreds of $1,000 deals immediately.
Yep.
You're just like, ugh.
So he was amazing. I mean, he shook my hand and he could see that I was nervous. And he actually stopped me, held my hand and was
reassured you.
This is when we shake hands, this means.
Did you tell him that were you telling him what you wanted it for?
Oh yeah, we were spilling our guts. I mean, we were I had Meg and the kids. Yeah, and we're this is gonna be our farm.
My realtor was you should really write a letter to the people that you want to buy the house from, and
we did that for our house.
Yeah, you butter them up a little bit. Give the whole. I could see building my life here in this house that you built.
I mean, it's got to be worth something. If it's not, then
100%
paper and. Writing,
so you guys end up getting this property.
Yep.
What happens from the time you get the property? Are you off to the races?
So we bought the property and we didn't have anything. I had a little Boland's lawnmower. Yeah. Lawn tractor.
Was it pretty cleared out?
Yeah. I mean, there's probably 10 acres total that was cleared. He would brush hog it 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh, so you didn't really need to do too much craziness to that cleared part.
No, so the first year he was generous. He's like, I know you're going to need to get a tractor and all this other stuff. And he's like, I'll clear it. I clear it. I think he said July 4th and, Labor Day too. So
that's awesome.
He cleared it a couple times for us, got us through that first year and let us, try to make some plans for how we were going to maintain this.
Yeah.
And, we immediately started, adding compost and, trying to figure out where the garden was going to go and stuff like that. So
what are the things that factor into your mind whenever you want to decide where to plant a garden? Because right now I have about 3/4 of an acre. I'd say about half of it is clear.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to decide what is the best place for me. Obviously the sun is going to take in consideration.
Number one is sun. You want to have a south facing slope. If I can tell you got slopes here. So
yeah,
want to be facing the sun pretty much as possible. I mean, in general, because it's you can add shade, you can't add sun.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's your number one.
Did you do any sort of like dirt testing before you bought this area?
Not before I bought it,
because it really wouldn't matter. I mean, like, is that something that you take in consideration?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So that area was actually a lot of fill. They brought a lot of fill soil in, so I was pretty worried about that a little bit. But
because now I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm trying to understand it. So the reason that you were somewhat worried is because does that soil not have any bacteria or enzymes in it to, is it not like living? Is that what it is?
Your worst situation is that it's contaminated with heavy metals.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. That's the thing that you're really, really worried about.
Yeah.
So I did send away to Penn State. We did heavy metals testing on it, but that was after I purchased the property, because we're doing this one way or the other. Like,
for sure.
If we have to build up, or if we have to, take some of this material out and backfill it with something else, we're going to make that happen with the size that we were looking at.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did do the heavy metals testing. And the other stuff that you're looking for is, you want living soil. Like, if you're going to grow the way that we grow, you want something that has life in it. You don't want to be planting in just dirt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the best places to plant are like old fields, honestly. I mean, they have a lot of activity biologically and vegetatively, that there's just a lot going on with the bugs and the grasses and stuff like that. Now you're going to deal with weeds.
Yeah.
Weeds are crazy, but
what happens if you live in, like, let's say you're living in like an apartment or whatever, and you don't really have access to just dirt, so to speak. Like, you're going to buy topsoil and shit from like Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah.
But it's like, are you looking for anything in particular?
I would stay away from Miracle-Gro.
Why is that?
They use quite a bit of
some sketchy stuff.
Like they'll use chopped up pallets and stuff like that for their their mulches, and even in some of the potting soil. Like, I think that, and I'm not trying to bash Miracle-Gro or anything.
No,
I think the organic stuff's probably fine. But
yeah, I
wouldn't buy like the bare bones lowest end stuff.
Scale up just a little bit.
Yeah, scale up a little bit. I'm an engineer and farmer, so I like to DIY everything. There's good potting mix recipes online.
Yeah. And
if you search,
you can throw some stuff together yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of
have you always been someone who's like kind of been into this like homesteading sort of like, way of life kind of?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, not when I was a kid. When I was a kid, like in high school, I was.
Yeah, like what did you play sports or something?
Yeah, so Matt, we played basketball together.
Oh,
I was
okay.
on the basketball team. We were like the two most surprising basketball players. Let's just put it that way.
I know, it's funny.
We were on a varsity team.
That's what's up, though. I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
A lot of time around the jungle.
No, I was in high school. I was hood. I was putting systems in people's cars and burning CDs for people.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I was always hustling.
I know the McKeesport is, I feel like Bone Thugs and Harmony is a soundtrack of McKeesport.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like every one of my brother's friends. I feel like besides from McKeesport, like I don't really hear of Bone a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like that was like forefront of everything with all of his friends.
Right.
But it's so you're putting in systems and stuff like that.
Putting systems in people's cars.
That's the best.
So I always had, I guess, that entrepreneurial spirit. So maybe that's part of why we decided to turn it into a business and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we went from McKeesport. I left McKeesport with my fitteds and that, and then I came home with ripped up jeans and the hat, college experience, and that, I guess, coming home from Penn State is whenever we really started getting that kind of home body.
You go to Penn State, Maine?
Yeah. I went to Penn State McKeesport. Great, it's called Greater Allegheny now, but Penn State McKeesport for 2 years, and then I went up to Maine for 2.5.
Legendary up there, huh?
Yeah.
What's up?
Had to get an extra semester for football season up there.
You played football?
No.
Just watch it up there.
No, I just went to the games.
So you were saying, obviously you're younger. You're not obviously homesteading, just like I wasn't at all. But now I'm making hot sauce in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm addicted to, all of it. So obviously it kind of came in to your life in some way.
Yeah.
What's your wife like at this point?
So my wife has probably been more, I guess her background's probably more rural. Is that, I don't know if that's the right word to say, but her grandparents lived on a farm, and they were always out in the country. My father-in-law, he's basically always either in the woods or on a creek or on the river fishing and stuff like that. So they were probably more tuned into nature. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, she's always been like that. And us as a couple, everyone would always tell us we're like the oldest couple they know. So
me and my wife get that a lot.
Yeah. Cause you're, making bread and canning and stuff like that.
100%.
Who does that?
I don't know. I don't go out. I find myself, even whenever I had an apartment near the city, I'm a homebody. I like being home. I like just being around my area. But now I moved into this house. I liked it whenever we had a shitty apartment.
Yeah.
Now we bought this house. I don't ever want to leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Got the studio here. I'm trying to get this chicken coop built this weekend. I'm trying to just
You doing chickens?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm going to get some, you got chickens?
Yeah, we have some chickens.
How many?
8.
Do you have them at your house or?
Yeah, they're in our backyard.
Wow, man, I feel like this might be a long podcast. It might be because I'm pretty curious. Look, I just bought this Guide to Raising Chickens. You familiar with that? This is supposedly the Bible of chickens for chickens.
I don't know. I might have to pick that one up.
You might have to pick this one up.
I was laughing because I was listening to Cody's podcast on the way here, and he was saying something about, and I think a lot of people will have the same thing, that you could learn anything on YouTube. You can get your master's degree on YouTube, and that's where we've learned almost all of our stuff. We've done some, we've paid for some trainings from some of the market gardeners and stuff like that. But YouTube and online,
we're spoiled.
We're spoiled.
It's I became a very great sourdough baker, immediately when quarantine started. I was whipping loaves and they were looking real nice. Yeah. And
did you have the fancy knife and stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The man, why can't I remember what it's called?
I know there's a name for it.
It's called man, I can't remember what it's called, but I got a mean ass one. It got engraving and shit on it. I got real extra. I'm always real extra. If I get into something, I'm into it 1,000,000%.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And
that's the same.
It's a way to do it though. But so you guys, obviously you're, two of a kind. She was all for, expanding all this and, growing it and kind of getting their hands dirty and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, for you to make this a business, when did the business start?
2018.
2018. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you prepare to run a business? What is your mindset of what you wanted to do with it?
I don't know. I guess things change quite a bit and really fast and probably a lot of people who start businesses have the same kind of story where you have a thought of what this is going to look like.
Oh yeah.
And then, you have to adapt. So, if you ask Meg, she wanted to have a triple B. And I think I
had triple B on.
Triple B on. So she wanted the whole experience,
big deal.
Have people coming in for fall festivals and all this other stuff, and that wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I'm an introvert. She's more of an extrovert. She's kind of an introvert too, but she enjoys entertaining and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just want to
kind of do what you're doing,
have my hands in the dirt. And,
not have to worry about talking to a bunch of people that are coming by.
And,
that makes sense.
So she had that idea. We kind of decided to start it off doing the CSA thing. So
yeah. What does that mean?
CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture.
Okay. So this is an answer to a question. A question said, if I don't have room to garden at home, how do I find local opportunities to use my green thumb? Maybe that's not the answer to this question, but I feel like that is kind of in the realm of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a green thumb. Give us a call. We're looking for help. No. I would say the best thing to do, like if you don't have space, there's a lot of areas that have the community gardens.
Yeah. They had one up where I lived over in West End. It was this huge, it had to be an
that
acre.
one's nice.
That one in West End?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like they had it there and there was people growing stuff in the beginning, but then everything got cleared out and then it had a private property sign on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know if someone bought it or
I
like,
don't know.
you know, but
I've heard of that. That one was
when we first got there, like
pretty
it was
banging,
ripping.
yeah.
Like they had all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah.
But then I think like the last couple years that I was there, it didn't look like that there was that much, you know, activity in there.
So the problem that I've seen, like McKeesport has a community garden too, and they have a couple people who really do it. They're very into it. But
where's that at?
it's down on Walnut Street, right by Harrison.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly where it is. Yeah, I do. Okay. So, I mean, like who
It's
runs
nice.
that?
So I'm not even sure. I'm not sure if it's a company or what, but Sherry's the name of the lady that we deal with whenever we talk with them.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is I think they have a hard time getting volunteers.
Yeah. I guess that would make
to help
sense.
out with stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's work to do it all. So
Yeah.
if no one's going to do it.
I mean, they get people who buy their little plot and come in and just use the plot. Like you can do that too. You can just, you pay, you know, whatever the fee is for the little garden plot.
Oh, that's cool.
And
So
then you can use that.
that's a good answer for that.
Yeah. But if you wanted to really get into it a little bit more, talk to the people who run it and say, hey, can we help
Come and
out?
volunteer
Can we help
a little
out and
bit.
Volunteer. Yeah.
I've always been like, you know, super fascinated with like, you know, that's how I learn. You know, if I'm going to do something, I want to just do it. Like, I just want to like go help and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of just like figure out the right ways. That's kind of why, you know, that's where the basis of all this came from. It's like I was saying online, or like I was telling you before, you could read a million things online, but it's overwhelming by how much information you get. So it's like, I just want to go work with someone who does it and who has been doing it and knows a way to do it that's right.
Yeah.
And just learn that way.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to hear from somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
How
exactly.
to do something. Yeah. Even if it's not the right way, it still gives you the confidence. You know, there's a million ways to skin a cat, right?
Yeah.
So like,
but you're obviously growing vegetables successfully.
Right.
You know how to do it some way. I want to know how to do it now.
Yeah.
But
we'll have to have you over.
I'll definitely
put you to work.
I'll 100% come over. My parents still live over that way.
Yeah.
You know, I'll definitely come over, and I wish that I could have made it over there and came and looked at everything and kind of got like a little tour of it all. But you know, shit's been crazy.
Oh yeah, I was trying to unload hot peppers on you.
I know you're. Oh yeah, you were trying to give me a bunch of garlic last year too.
Garlic and hot peppers, yeah.
Man, I might take you up this year. What is so whenever you are making this garden in the form of a business, you know, like what are your ideas of what you want to plant there? Obviously people probably, you know, use tomatoes, use things like, this is just me guessing, tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, you know, what else is like your main bread and butter?
So, you know, I'm an engineer again.
Yeah.
So I have like crazy spreadsheets of, you know, what's the most, you know, I keep track of all of our sales week to week, every single week. I know what I sold last year.
Yeah.
You know, how much. I keep track of when we sold out of things. I also keep track of what the most profitable things are too. So, I mean, you know, my most profitable crop is lettuce.
Lettuce.
Yeah.
Do you grow
leaf lettuce.
More than one type?
Yeah, we do a mix. Like we try to keep our spring mix pretty much the same all year.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to grow good lettuce in the summertime, so we have to change it up a little bit.
It's interesting to me because like whenever I went to go and find, you know, whenever I went to the one nursery just looking at stuff, there was like, you know, a million different types of tomatoes, million different types of everything. So it's like whenever you're, you know, starting off on this venture, it's like, are you just kind of like trying a few out and just trying to figure out what you like because there's so many?
Yeah, I mean, so starting out, like I guess we paid for that training from Jean-Martin Fortier. He's from Quebec, I think. Quebec, somewhere in Canada.
Yeah.
and he's like the guy for market gardening. So he has like lists of these are the, you know,
okay,
proven winners for varieties.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to work in everybody's climate, but if you start with these, you're going to do pretty good. So that's pretty much where we started on like varieties and stuff like that. Cause yeah, tomatoes are like crazy. Like you can get
millions
there's millions.
That was a question. What's your favorite type of tomato?
I don't have one.
You don't have one? No. What's one that you prefer?
If I had to recommend
one for people
to grow.
Yeah.
If you want beefsteaks, big beef, like just your regular beefsteak tomato.
Beefsteak tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's the best to go with?
Big beef.
Big beef.
Yeah. The best tasting beefsteak tomato is Cherokee Purple.
Cherokee Purple.
Yep.
Now, like, you know, obviously people could buy from you locally. You know, you guys have seedlings, you know, you kind of do the dirty work for everyone. But for people that are not local to you and they can't take advantage of your seedling sale that's currently going on, you know, what's the best place for people to find, you know, seeds, like places to go get their stuff? What would you stay away from? What would you gravitate towards?
My suggestion would be for people to get whatever they can get and plant whatever they can plant.
Yeah.
Really a lot of the stuff, like even the stuff you buy at the big box stores, it's great. I mean, Bonnie makes great plants.
Yeah. I mean, like there's not any that like doesn't really matter. It's just, you can kind of go grab whatever you can get and it's just kind of how you take care of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to get into like the different varieties and stuff like that, then you want to find somebody smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller that can spend the time on taking care of. Like I think we have 65 different tomato varieties for sale in the seedling sale.
Jesus.
Total, you know, between cherries and
everything,
beefsteaks, slicers, Romas.
Well, it's like for me to be someone who, you know, a homeowner that wants to implement a garden, I'm kind of going through the process that I went through last year as far as, you know, how I approached it.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the store, I saw that there was a million seeds there. I started a little bit too late, so I couldn't start from seeds.
Yeah.
So, you know, I knew that was, I spent like $85 on the hot pepper seeds offline. I still have them all upstairs.
They last for a long time. So
I know. I got them in a dark dry place. Yeah. And I don't have the right tools right now to, what's the right word for that?
Germinate? Like
Germinate, to start that all.
Inside?
I know. I need to get into that. I need to get into it a little bit more.
So I guess I'm going to back up on my suggestion for finding stuff. Go on Facebook or Instagram or something. Facebook's probably a good place. Facebook Marketplace. You're going to find somebody who
has seedlings
like we do. You know, I mean, we started selling all of our stuff on Facebook, like even before we had, like a true business with a website and all that stuff. And we still do use Facebook quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would put ads on Facebook, seedlings for, you know, $2-3.
I felt almost like a poser because I wasn't germinating seeds myself. You know, whenever I got pepper seeds, you know, my boy's like, yeah, let's get into it. We're going to get peppers going. And like, I was like, yeah, I'm getting peppers going. And then I got these seeds and I'm like, man, I kind of missed my window. And then I bought these seedlings and I was like, you know, I kind of felt like a poser that I didn't germinate them seeds myself.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll get there. At some point.
Whatever
works.
The job done. Right?
Yeah. Whatever works. Do you think that, you know, would you say it's pretty difficult to germinate seeds and like, you know, get it to that point where you could just plant them?
Some things are easier than others. Like peppers are probably one of the harder ones just because they take the longest. Humidity. Yeah. They need to have pretty high humidity. You need to have them inside like 10, 12 weeks before you can plant them out. So you got to keep this thing alive for, you know, 3 months before you can even put it in the garden.
Oh yeah. I was like, no, I can't get into that right now.
Yeah. I mean, you got too much stuff going on. Like
100%.
It's easier just to, you know, you're going to spend a little bit more money buying the transplants, but as long as you're not,
they ended up working out great
plants,
though. Like I was getting like, you know, literally hundreds of habaneros where I was blown away by it. We were both, that's the reason I started getting into hot sauce. I know I brought some chips down here. I brought, you know, we could throw that on there. I see you got a little bottle of hot sauce in there as well. Now,
you've always looks good.
You always been a hot guy?
Yeah.
I haven't. I was never really.
I'm probably more, I guess I don't really enjoy the hot. It always started off like the tough guy can eat the, you know, ghost chili.
I don't like
kind of stuff, but then it started catching on to me.
I don't like a novelty. Like I don't want it to be like a novelty type of hot.
Yeah.
Like I did that Hot Ones challenge, and you know,
chip, the
No, like the 10 hot sauces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like that wasn't like terrible, but it's like some of them don't even taste good. You know, they're just like a novelty. But I'm curious. Could I try the sauce you got there right there?
Yeah,
I
so
see you
I
got
brought
there.
two. This is the habanero lime, and it's less saucy than yours. Like it's thinner.
Yeah, this is like vinegary.
Yeah, more vinegary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
habanero lime.
And then this one's garlic hab.
Oh, okay. That's what my base is
I was
garlic
say, that's kinda
habanero.
what yours is like. Huh?
Ooh, oh, I got one.
I want to crack yours. Do you have it? Do you have an open one, or you want me to open this one?
I got an open one. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Now, the habanero lime, I like that one a lot. That one tastes good.
I think you'll like this one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what your garlic habanero tastes like compared to like another one. Like I never got to like taste two side by side.
Yeah. So yours is much more chip friendly.
Thicker.
It's thicker. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like drain any out. I don't put it through like a cheesecloth or anything. A lot of people want to take that pulp out. Yeah. I just blend it. I want the pulp in there. Like that?
That's real good.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I was happy with it. I was really happy with it. People seem to enjoy it. You know, I was happy with the consistency of it. I like the color of it.
Yeah.
Took me a couple rounds.
A lot of garlic.
There's a good bit of garlic in there. It's a
Gotta
good
be.
bit. Got to be a good bit.
Can't have too much.
There's a good bit of garlic in there, and good bit of lime in there as well.
That's really good. Now our mouths are going to be on fire the whole rest of the talk.
I like the garlic. I feel like I like the lime one more.
The lime's really good on like tacos.
This one says hot.
Yeah, that one's hot.
Oh, yeah, it is hot. My nose is running already. Now,
That's cool.
I mean, like, how do you start learning how to do this stuff? You just YouTube?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of making it how you want to?
Yeah. So our hot, I have to clarify, like our hot sauce isn't for sale. It's just, we just make it on the side.
Yeah. Same thing with me.
Yeah.
Holler if you want some.
That's right.
Work a trade.
Yeah.
I like working a trade.
So we actually ferment it. Have you looked into that at all?
How long do you do it? Mine's like, I do it for like a couple weeks, but
Yeah, that's all.
that's it.
Just a few weeks.
Another dude that I interview on here, oh, that's spicy. His name is Kevin Resnik. He is worked for Cyril Wecht for years. He's he's like the head of Jesus. It's so hot. I feel like I'm on hot ones right now. Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. He works there. Did like 1,200 autopsies. This dude has a green thumb though, and that's what he does on the side. Big hot sauce guy. He's the one who kind of got me into it all.
Yeah.
But he ferments his stuff for like over a year.
Oh, wow.
Some of them. Like he has a whole separate fridge of just sauces, salsas.
That's crazy.
Yeah, his garden is crazy. He brought me like a whole Tupperware of just like smoked peppers.
Nice.
He's into it for sure. But I don't know. I just love the whole. I feel like that. I just want to be as close to the product as I can.
Yeah.
You know, like I love coffee. I wanted to learn how to roast coffee. I did. I love like hot sauce like this. I didn't want to just give people a bunch of my peppers and be like, yo, make me a batch of hot sauce.
Right.
I wanted to do this
Do it
shit
yourself.
myself.
Yep. We're the same way.
It's a better story. You know, and plus, you know, I just feel better about it. I learn about it. I know about it. I enjoy it more.
Yeah. It's another tool. Another thing you can do in the apocalypse.
100%. Yeah. Another thing you can do in the apocalypse. That's literally what I'm trying to do is just getting the chickens. I'm just trying to be self-sufficient. That's what I want. Now, you guys start all this like from where the size of the garden is now to what it is back whenever you started it. How much has it have grown? Good bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, like when we first started selling stuff, we have a garden in our front yard. And it was all coming out of there.
Okay.
So that was it's like 75 by 25 or something like that. We have a pretty big front yard. And, yeah, I mean, now we're 200, 300 feet. I'm trying to think of what the size is. Like we have like 3 different spaces now. So it's kind of hard to keep track, but it's pretty big.
Now
For like a market garden size, we're starting to get on like the higher end of, and when I say market garden, that's like most of the stuff is by hand. Like we don't tractor cultivate. We don't, I have like a walk behind. It's like a heavy duty tiller.
Yeah.
You can put attachments and stuff on it. But, we're not running acres and acres of corn and stuff like that, that, and we never will. Like that's not
what you want to do with it.
Yeah, it's all as close to the earth as possible by hand.
You grow corn up there?
We've dabbled with corn before, and we're this year we're going to try to do a little patch.
Do you? I see on your website that you got honey up there as well.
Yeah, I brought you some honey too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you a bee guy?
So we don't do the bees. We have bees on the property.
Yeah.
And John Yakum, he's out of Monroeville.
John Yakum.
Yeah.
Yakum Apiary.
Yakum Apiary. He's John's Bees on Facebook, and
I'll have to. I love honey.
Stuff's good.
I'm trying to get into some bees too. I'm allergic, but I'm allergic to bees.
Wait, you're allergic to bees?
Yeah, I'm allergic to bees.
Do bees.
Yeah, but
don't.
I don't know. I might be able to.
Smart.
Yeah, but I'll just have
because you're gonna get stung.
I know, but I'll just have an EpiPen. You know Jay Swanwick?
Yeah.
Jay Swanwick, he has some 10th Ward bees, and he's the one who got me into it. He was living up in 10th Ward, and he had 2 hives up there. Started giving me honey. I got some honey mead right over there that he gave me 5 years ago. But he said that he was only stung probably twice in the years that he was doing it. But I probably would get stung way more. But
I don't know, man. John gets stung every time I see him. He's not allergic, but he swells up. Like he'll come up to me, dots all over him.
Yeah, maybe I'll stay away from it. I'll just let you.
If you're allergic,
I'll start buying honey off you.
He would highly recommend not doing that, I think.
Now, how beneficial is it for you to have bees on that property?
It's pretty cool. I mean,
you need it though, right?
I mean, you need pollinators. There's a ton of natural pollinators. Like honeybees are probably not, in the grand scheme of things, they're not like a giant deal as far as pollination goes.
Really?
Except for on some of these bigger farms, like the almond farms out in California, they will bring in bees specifically they'll bring honeybees in specifically just for that pollination, because there's so many of one thing that they need to have like those type of bugs on there. But a lot of our stuff's just naturally pollinated. The honeybees are they do a really good job with the squashes.
Yeah.
Squash, cucumbers, yellow squash. Excuse me.
I know the hot sauce is getting me. Finally starting to subside a little bit. Starting to subside. We just have 3 different kinds on top of each other.
But yeah, I mean it's really cool seeing all the honeybees on the crops and stuff.
Oh yeah. Your kids are pretty into it, huh?
Yeah, they love it.
I see that. I saw the videos you were posting. They're pretty much hands on as much as they could be, huh?
Yeah, I mean like Cole. His thing is he's my farm buddy. So
how old?
Cole is 5 and Carter's 9.
All right. I saw on your website it said that you'll put them up against pretty much anyone in identifying hot pepper plants.
Oh, absolutely.
They're pretty good at it.
They know all the varieties.
They eat hot peppers?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Do kids like hot foods? I don't know if I've ever met a kid that likes a spicy food.
I think one of our customers has a kid who
just eats
likes hot, like just buys hot peppers and eats them.
Really?
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, savage.
Now, where you guys are now, like what is, like, I want to start ripping through some of these questions so we could kind of start like, picking it. So as someone who's planting a garden, what is the right time frame to plant a garden in this environment that we're in Pittsburgh? It snowed 2 days ago, and now tomorrow it's supposed to be like 80.
Yeah. How
do you deal with that?
So how do I deal with it?
Yeah, how do you deal with it? Like, what did you do with all that snow? Doesn't that like...
So we plant, we like different plants have different hardiness, right? So tomatoes, you don't want to plant until there's no frost.
Yeah.
So that's Mother's Day around here.
Okay.
That's like the guarantee. It's not really always a guarantee because we had a hard frost 2 days after Mother's Day last year. Killed off like half my tomatoes.
Can you just cover them?
Yeah, we cover them. We have like... They call it row cover. It's kind of like this. It's a little bit thicker than paper towel.
And then you just lay it on top there, and that'll keep from the frost getting on top of them.
Yeah, it'll give you a couple degrees.
Okay.
And then we have tunnels too. Those they call them caterpillar tunnels because they kind of look like big caterpillars.
Yeah.
That they're not heated, but they
I know you're talking
protection.
About.
Yeah.
Now for you two, so Mother's Day tomatoes.
Pepper, same thing. Peppers like it hot. They don't like anything cold.
What are hardy ones that you could plant now?
Kale, lettuce, radishes.
Wow.
almost any greens, like any leafy greens.
And those are pretty hardy
Arugula,
plants.
spinach. Yeah, they're hardy. I mean, I had spinach out in the field growing, like we planted it late last year and just let it go.
Really?
And it came back like gangbusters. We were eating it in February. It was delicious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, potatoes. There's a lot of stuff. Peas.
And then once Mother Day comes around, that's whenever you're getting into tomatoes, tomatoes, hot peppers.
Yep. Basil. If you're doing basil, don't put it out until you know it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't like anything below 40.
Now, let me read these couple questions. Okay. We're just going to start ripping through them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Quick rundown for composting. I'm curious about this. Like, I want to start a compost pile. I don't really understand exactly what I need to do, what I should be doing, how big.
Yeah. So compost,
Do you have a big compost pile?
yeah, we have huge piles. We actually do, we bring wood chips in, or we have wood chips brought in by the tree companies.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the guys might be a good guy for you to interview. I'll talk to you afterwards. But
Okay.
they bring the wood chips in, and we mostly just let the wood chips sit. I got my tractor, so I'll pick the wood chips up. And with compost, you want aeration.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm talking about from the
Like
very beginning.
simple. So
I want to know from the beginning.
like so what composting is just decaying matter.
Yeah.
So it's the microbes breaking down the material into smaller and smaller pieces until it's basically like soil.
Yeah.
So for those microbes to thrive, you need a couple things. You need oxygen, you need moisture, and you need some level of warmth. Most of the time they make their own warmth. Like if you got a real hot compost pile, it could be 150, 160 degrees.
Yeah. And you have to flip it and you'll see steam coming out,
Yeah, you
right?
see steam coming out. Yep.
Okay. Now,
So that's what you want to do. You don't want it to heat up too much on the inside. So whenever it starts to heat up, you want to move that material from the inside to the outside and get it all
mixed in.
Yeah.
Now, now I have a bare plot of land out there. How do I start one? What do I do?
I would say the easiest way to do like a compost pile in a smaller area is like, you can get chicken wire and some posts, T-posts or wooden posts or something like that, and just do 4 posts and then wrap the chicken wire around the posts.
Yeah.
So that you have like a tunnel almost, like a silo, I guess is a better way of saying it. And then just start putting all your scraps in there. You're cutting the grass, you got the grass clippings, you got your leaves in the fall. Throw some food scraps in there.
Anything but dairy.
Yeah, there's some things that you don't want to do, like dairy and meat.
Yeah, dairy and meat. That's what I read online.
Yeah, dairy and meat. I would stay away from that because
I've been trying
that can bring some.
I've been trying to do my research, and I saw no dairy, no meat. Coffee grounds, things
Coffee
like
grounds
that.
are great.
Eggshells, anything like that.
Yep.
So I can just start with grass clippings, start putting that in there,
Yep.
and then just start moving it around.
Yeah, just turn it whenever. It doesn't have to be anything regimented. Like
but just like whenever you think about it.
Yep.
And then I'll have that for my garden.
Yep.
You can just implement in that with your topsoil.
Yeah, and if you get crazy with it, like you could have multiple piles.
Multiple compost piles.
Yeah, so you have your first pile that you make.
Yeah.
Is going to be the first one that you use. So
I
instead
guess,
of adding new fresh
That makes
stuff
sense.
to it, you have something that's ready to go in the garden.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you're doing this composting and like you're moving stuff around, let's say that I have this. I'm going to just kind of make this easy to understand for everyone else. I have a 4x2 gardening box. Okay, for me to fill that up, I usually buy 1 bag of that topsoil out there. If I had compost in there, do you just mix it half and half, or do you just like put that topsoil in there and you just mix it on slowly? That compost.
For something like that, I would probably like mix some of it in with the potting mix or raised garden mix, whatever you're using. And then what I really like to do is put compost on top.
On top of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just leave the compost on top because it acts both as insulation for the soil, keeps the soil a little bit warmer during certain times of the year. And then the other thing is it keeps the weeds down. So if you have good compost that's made and it's hot, all the weed seeds die.
Wow.
So you can use that as a mulch, and then you don't have to worry about your weeds as much.
Wow.
If you have like a container, then just mix it
Yeah.
Just blend it like 50-50.
Huh.
Is the way I would do it.
All right. Now, you grow outside, but someone asked, do you know anything about affordable grow lights?
Yeah, I mean, shop lights are like the best thing to use.
Shop lights.
Yeah, just regular,
like a LED shop light.
LED shop lights. That's what I use. I have 2 towers, like 2 those metal shelves. You know,
Yeah.
you buy see at Costco or whatever.
Yeah.
I have 2 of those, and I have 4 tiny shop lights on each shelf.
Ah.
And that's
Okay.
where I start for the farm. Every single seedling that we starts
on that shelf.
on one of those 2 shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do like 40 trays
Wow.
in there.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's all you really need. Like, you don't need anything. They have these crazy grow lights and stuff on Amazon. Like,
Don't really need to do all that.
unless you're growing something crazy.
Yeah.
If you're growing weed or something, then
Yeah, then you probably want to get crazy.
yeah.
Now, do you have any tips on how to keep deer away? The only tip I could come up with is a tip that I saw in a Disney movie called The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. They say that if you put human hair around it, deer won't want to come near it.
Have you tried that?
No, it's probably fake.
I don't think it works.
I don't think it would be either, unless you're hunting.
You need an 8-foot. Yeah, if you're hunting, then they smell everything.
Terrible.
You need the only true way to do it is 8 or 10 foot high fence.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to keep them away.
What do you guys do?
So we do a combination. We just put in a one of those 8-foot fences, plastic fence.
Yeah.
One cool thing that has worked very well for us, it's not fully deer proof, but it's called a 3D fence.
3D fence.
Yeah. And it's a electric fence.
Oh, okay.
So there's two rows of electric line.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the deer, they have really bad depth perception.
Yeah.
So what you do is you run the outside line is hot with electric, and you usually bait that line with peanut butter or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'll smell it, sniff it, lick it,
Get zapped.
get the message, right?
Yeah.
And then next time, whenever they come up to that, they know that line's there, but they see something behind it, the other fence, and they can't tell how deep it is because they don't have depth perception.
Yeah.
So they won't try to jump it.
Huh.
So our main garden is like that. It just has 2 lines of just basically like
How tall are they?
5.5 feet.
Oh, okay.
The inside one's like 5.5 feet, and the one on the outside's like right here, 3 feet.
Wow. Did you ever have a time where like the deer pretty much like pillaged your whole crop?
Yeah, we've had some times where they break in.
Is that detrimental to you?
Yeah, it is. It is. But I mean, after a while, you kind of just
That's parts of the territory.
it's just parts of the territory. Like we've had stuff get decimated by bugs. We've had
Yeah, I asked.
groundhogs are the worst.
Are they?
Oh, they're so bad.
Groundhogs.
Groundhogs are so bad. So where we bought the property, right? It was an old field that he just cut 3 times a year. So it's like groundhog heaven.
Oh, I bet.
And they actually dug holes under my fence straight up inside of the one of the tunnels that we have. And we didn't know about it. Like, it was inside of our pepper bed.
Yeah.
And he was probably going to town for like
Wow.
weeks, months
Before you saw
before
it.
we even saw the damn hole. Yeah, groundhogs are bad.
Yeah, I remember we were having bad things with rabbits. Rabbits were
Yeah.
eating all of our kohlrabies.
Yeah,
You guys grow kohlrabies?
yeah, we do.
You like a kohlrabi?
Love it.
It's weird because not a lot of people know what that is, I don't think.
So we get a lot of the older folks.
Old people is what's in it.
They come to the market stand and they see kohlrabi and they're like,
My dad,
give me it all.
My dad would used to just slice it, a little salt on
Yep.
it, raw,
That's how we eat it.
or
Salt and pepper.
he would just steam it in a little whatever bowl, put it in the microwave and steam it. But like, I feel like I think my wife was like, I never heard of a kohlrabi or anything.
I know.
It's weird.
They're fun to grow.
Radish is it radish family?
Yeah. It's
Cabbage?
It's cabbage. It's more related to cabbage. It's like
brassica. It's like a cabbage apple.
Yeah.
If people wanted to know what it was like.
That's what I would say is like a mix between cabbage and apple. It's really good in coleslaw too. Like if you chop it up real fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about
Yeah.
that. What is okay? So someone said, "Could I be as successful with potted plants outside as I would be with a raised bed?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. Is there any plants that like will not do well in a potted plant because of the root base, like not being able to expand.
So the problem with pots are, depending on how big they are, they're going to dry out faster.
Yeah.
So you have to really like
Be diligent on
watering them. There's some things that actually do better in pots. Your peppers might do better in pots.
So last year,
peppers.
I almost shot myself in the foot because I was planting these peppers and I was like, man, I want to get these things ripping hot. And people were like, peppers love to be distressed.
Yeah.
You know, just don't water them for 3 weeks.
Yep. Especially hot ones. Yep.
Didn't work out good for me.
No?
They were like dying
You were
off.
stressing them too much.
They were stressed, but I wasn't even waiting that long. I was waiting like a week or so, and then I could tell like the health of the plant was like going down.
Yeah.
And then I started watering it way more, and then it just started ripping again.
Yeah.
It was weird because I grew two jalapenos, two habaneros, 2 banana peppers, and 2 ghost peppers. And the only things that did not grow were the banana peppers. All the rest of the stuff grew fine.
Really?
Even the ghost peppers literally died. The plants were dead. Didn't pull them out or anything. Kept watering the hell out of them. They came back alive and started fruiting
Like crazy.
a crazy amount. And I put them in a lot of stuff, but it was just like, it's weird because at one point I thought my plants were all going to be dead.
Yeah.
But then they like fell down and then they came back up stronger than ever.
Yeah, peppers are pretty tough, but I will say like we've had problems with banana peppers too.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't understand
some
it.
years they just don't do good.
Yeah,
So,
it didn't do well.
I don't think you were doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try again this year, see how it goes. But so nothing really with as far as like potting, with the root bed. Anything we want to stay away from?
I mean, you want to stay away from stuff that roots deeper. So like, excuse me, man, that hot sauce is.
I know it's still there.
So like big tomato plants, and if you're planting tomatoes in pots, they have specific types of tomatoes to grow. They're determinants
Yeah,
where the plant doesn't get so big.
yeah,
The bigger the plant, the more roots there are, right? So
Yeah.
if you have that huge plant that has all the roots in a small pot, it's going to continually suck up all that moisture real quick, and it's not going to do very well.
because if you look at them little tags that come in the seedlings, it'll say like, oh, this needs like a 18-inch circumference
Yep.
for it to be able to grow. And I pushed my luck and I put way too much in that little raised bed, but ended up working. Did
you do like the square foot gardening, or
No, I didn't. Nothing.
you just cram stuff in?
Crammed them in, evened it out. Just made them even along the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like I feel like I'm someone who always is trying to be as precise as I could be. If I'm following recipes or anything like that, I follow the recipe. I'll add some extra shit in there, but I usually don't like try to steer away from it because. It's like a science. It's like science. You follow the recipe, it's going to come out good.
Yeah, change one variable or something like that.
100%. Something small. Add a little cinnamon or some shit like that. Right. You know what I mean? But I was reading all this and I way overthink everything. Whenever I'm planning all this, I'm like, oh, these aren't going to work because they're closer than they need to be. And, it really is not like that high pressure of a thing, right?
No,
you're
it's
just
not.
figuring it out.
And I'm the same as you. I worry about everything.
Yeah,
So,
you're an engineer, so you're just thinking of all the things that could fail.
correct.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I mean, my advice again is just plant something.
See how
Even
it
if it
goes.
doesn't do good, who cares?
Yeah, you're going to learn, right?
You're going to learn. Yeah.
What about fig trees? You got any tips on fig trees?
I don't do fig trees, but I think they like as much sun and as much heat as possible. So I know a lot of people like they'll plant figs in like bigger pots.
Yeah.
Because fig trees don't get that big.
Oh, really?
So they'll plant them in pots like half barrel size.
Oh, wow.
Kind of size, and then bring them inside in the wintertime.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They don't like the cold.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, as much heat and as much sun as possible is what is about the best that I have for figs.
What about a raised bed? Is there a certain size or is there a certain height that would be better off the ground, or does it matter?
So it probably depends on what type of soil you have.
Like for something that I have out there, like that's like 3 foot off the ground, little raised bed, probably like 8 inches deep, just a little box.
Yeah.
Does it matter really how high it is off the ground?
I mean, I would say like the more soil you have and the better buffer you have. So you can.
I guess so. Yeah. makes sense.
Stuff's going to do better. The roots can get bigger. You're not going to have to baby it so much. But 8 inches is probably what minimum I would recommend, like for anything big, like tomatoes and stuff like that. Now, herbs and lettuce and all that, the roots only go a couple inches down, so you can grow those in anything.
I guess that I'm kind of having like an epiphany, because whenever people are saying like raised beds, that's what I think of. But
yeah, that's
really,
where I have to like reset my mind too, because like I call
a raised bed is like basically just an enclosed, on the ground.
Yeah.
4 walls on the ground, right?
I call my beds raised beds, but they don't have any structure next to them. It's just the fact that you mound up the soil. Like when you say raised bed, you're talking like a
box.
A box that's up off the ground.
Okay. Right? Yeah. But I get what you're saying now. That makes more sense, because whenever he said like how tall should a raised bed be, I was like, well, I don't think it matters what that box is off the ground, but the way that you're talking about it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're thinking just like
they're thinking of just on the ground like
off
that.
Off the ground, yeah.
So, so I mean, like 6, 8 inches be good.
If you're doing it on soil and your soil below there's decent, then you really don't need anything.
Yeah,
I mean the raised beds they look nicer.
What about if people want to plant a garden and they want to like test their dirt? Like for me, for instance, like this house was terrible before. This was a hoarder's house. They redid this whole thing. All this ground out here, I guess, was a fill.
Yeah.
So I don't know what my dirt is. I don't think it's that great, because it's hard to
stuff in there.
It's hard to keep grass. There's all kinds of rocks and shit in there. So it's like, my question is, if I wanted to like kind of evaluate the soil that I have, obviously I could send it to Penn State if I wanted to, but like, is there a way for someone to do it without, spending a bunch of money and just like kind of visually looking at it?
I mean, if it grows grass good,
then
it's probably good.
Good enough.
If
mine don't grow that good.
Grow good, then you
mine
probably
don't grow
need
that
to do
good.
something with it.
Yeah.
So,
what can you do?
If you want to just try something, like just try planting stuff like that's quick growing, like beans or peas or something like that. You can just try
see how
it goes. A lot of times around here, the problem is compaction.
Okay.
So, the soil's been beat up and who knows what's been run over the ground that you're trying to plant in. So, if you can, I have a tractor, so I could rip stuff up, but take a fork, like a garden fork, and just try to break up the ground as deep as you can as possible. And that's a lot of times that's why people do raised beds, right? Because
you could add
their soil sucks.
Yeah, and you could add good soil on top of it.
Correct.
Yep, that's a good point. Look, I'm learning all kinds of
There
stuff. Bulbs or seeds when planting onions? Last year I used bulbs and I had no luck.
Bulbs are very hit and miss.
Why is that?
So onions are biannual.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Once every other year.
Yeah.
Or every other year.
Yeah. So they want to go through 2 seasons before they go to flower.
Okay.
So they'll grow, this year, if you planted seeds of they this year, they'll grow up, they'll go into dormancy over the winter, and then next year they'll flower. So what the bulb is they actually start the growing process. These things start to bulb up, and then
a year ahead of time,
and then they
so you don't have to wait 2 years. You're technically supposed to be able to plant them bulbs, and they'll flower that year.
Well, that's the problem. Like, you don't want it to flower.
Okay.
So you want to harvest them in that first year.
But that's what a bulb is after a year of planting a seed.
After a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it's easier for people. It's easier to just get the bulb and plant it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you grow it the next summer, or the next spring or whatever, sometimes they do great, and other times they go to flower right away, and you get no onions or very small onions.
That's interesting.
We do seeds. Seeds are a little hard to. They're kind of like peppers. You need to baby
a while
them.
to germinate.
You need to baby them inside. Yeah. But you'll get, if you want the biggest onions, do them from seed.
Is there like a crazy amount of different onions too?
There's a good bit. It's not like tomatoes.
How many different ones do you guys grow?
We probably do 5 different onions, and then we do 2 or 3 different types of shallots.
What do you do, like a Spanish onion, a sweet onion? No, but that's what I want to do. I need to get into shallots. My goals for what I want to grow, for things that I utilize the most, I want to be able to grow garlic. I want to be able to grow onions, shallots, things like that, tomatoes, hot peppers, and like cucumbers. Basically, the run of the mill stuff. But I really want to. I never really had any desire to grow herbs, but I kind of want to do that now.
Yeah.
I definitely want to because I have a nice deck upstairs. They always get sun.
Yeah.
So I could put them all there.
Yep. Yeah,
for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, grow. I mean, that's my biggest advice for people is grow what you use, what you like.
What's the easiest thing? If you had to say one thing to grow that's the easiest to grow, what would it be? Weeds.
Weeds.
Yeah. You don't have to do nothing.
I don't know. Peppers are pretty easy.
Yeah.
I would say.
I really didn't. I was kind of blown away.
Because you can beat them up.
Yeah. They were forgiving.
That doesn't mean that you're going to get a lot of peppers every single year.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect to get what I got. I was like, it was almost like too many. I was like, Jesus, like, what am I going to do with all these?
But I mean, when you ask me that question, I'm just thinking through my head, like, which plants do we plant that we just put in the ground and we don't worry about?
Set it and forget it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they're easy to grow, but they don't get the pest pressure.
Yeah.
They don't get the, other than the heat, like the cold, they can't take cold, but they're pretty hardy.
You can deal with a lot of pests?
Oh yeah.
Like what? Like what are some of them?
The white butterflies that fly around?
Yeah. Small ones?
Yeah. Those are like the bane of our existence. Those are cabbage moths.
What do those do?
They go after obviously cabbage.
Yeah.
Anything in that family. So they hit the kohlrabi, broccoli, kale, Swiss chard, any of that stuff, collards.
What do they do to it though?
So they lay their eggs on that family, the brassica family, and then the eggs they grow into little caterpillars, and the caterpillars just
eat everything.
Yeah. We give the kids we give them $1 for every single white butterfly that they catch.
That's so good.
They're hard to catch.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being a kid trying to do it as well, but I never realized that they were a pest.
They're bad.
Huh? That's interesting.
You ask about the easiest thing to plant. It's kind of funny. Like our hardest thing to plant is cukes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know why they just don't grow good for us.
Huh?
We get the cucumber beetle.
Cucumber beetle.
That's another pest that's pretty bad.
Why do the like what brings pests to your garden? Like is it kind of just, chance or is there things that you could do wrong?
So lately what I've been trying to do, I'm following this whole organic, all natural growing thing. And the people who do it very, very well, they say that if your soil has all the nutrients that the plant wants, the plant itself will defend itself against the pests. Like there's guys that have been doing the organic stuff for a long time, and they plant cucumbers, and they're like, I've never seen a cucumber beetle in my cucumber patch. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Yeah, because you guys got a lot of them.
Yeah, so something's off. There's something off that we're.
That's interesting.
We send our soil to not just Penn State anymore. We send it to like specialized companies that do tests and give more specific recommendations for the style of growing that we're doing, the organic stuff. So,
okay.
So I'm trying to
hone in on what's going on with that.
Beef my stuff up. So I do a lot of amendments. And
so for you two, you're saying you're trying to transition into all an organic, way of growing, but like, what are the pros and cons of this? You know what I mean? I know that there's fertilizer. People ask like, what is some of the best fertilizer?
Yeah.
I know that that's like a loaded question because like some people, whenever they say best, they mean what's going to make my shit grow the biggest, or what's the healthiest whenever they say best.
And we are like, we're not certified organic, but we don't use any synthetic pesticides.
What does that mean?
Herbicides. So organic, like the organic process or the organic certification is generally that you're not going to use anything that's chemically synthetic.
Yeah, nothing man-made.
You're using stuff that's natural.
Like what kind of stuff is natural that you could use?
Like what we use for like compost is the best.
Yeah, I
compost
guess.
has a lot of the stuff that you need,
and it's natural things.
Natural. We use like bone meal and blood meal and feather meal.
Oh, okay.
Those are all different. Like blood meal and feather meal is high nitrogen.
And those are just additives to the soil.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call them amendments.
amendments.
Yeah.
That sounds cooler.
It sounds cooler.
What about for people that are not really worried about like, market gardening, fertilizing, like I bought fertilizer. It was like a little box. I can't remember what it was, but I swear to God, I put it on my peppers and they started ripping.
Oh yeah. For fertilizer, like we don't use the synthetic stuff, but I'm not pragmatic about it at all. I mean, I'm like use what works. Like before I started doing this, when we just had the garden by ourselves, Miracle Grow tomato mix will make amazing tomatoes, and peppers, same thing.
I mean,
it just grows like crazy.
What's the negative behind it though? I mean, I know people want the whole, certified organic, but I mean, realistically, what is bad about it that is not good? I mean, I know that's a loaded question too, but I really don't know.
I mean, like on an individual scale, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I guess the movement that we kind of are following on regenerative agriculture and trying to leave the ground better than what we
which is understandable as a business.
Like that, if I use Miracle Grow all the time, I would kill the soil.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because the soil can't feed on the stuff that's in Miracle Grow. The Miracle Grow is the stuff that your microbes create. So it's like replacing the microbes, because the microbes eat all the decaying matter, and then they turn it into nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all the good stuff for the plants.
This is coming back to me now. I listened to an episode of Rogan where he had some guy on that talked about this. He was saying save your soil, but he was talking about back in the day whenever farmers were just using all this fertilizer and it was like, yielding this like pristine looking stuff.
Yeah.
But all the soil that they used for all them years that they were fertilizing is destroyed now.
Right.
And now they cannot produce crops.
Well, it's the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl in the Midwest, like in the, I don't know if it was the 30s or sometime early in the 1900s, like you got the best stuff from there, but they tilled the shit out of the soil and they used not back then, they weren't using synthetics back then. Synthetics came around like in the 60s, but the tilling is the other bad thing for regenerative.
Because it's disrupting everything.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You're killing all those microbes every time you till.
I didn't know that.
But I mean, some of the market gardeners are like super.
I'm sure more, stuffy about it than others.
And we're not. I mean, we follow some people who kind of have the same mindset as us. Like, in the end, we're not going to, have a bad crop just to potentially save the soil some 100 years down the road.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
I mean, if we have weeds in our beds, we're going to run and we can't do anything else with it. We're going to till it.
Yeah.
Like that's, because if we don't, you're
not going to be able to do anything with it. Yeah. That's interesting to think about. Cause, I'm just trying to understand all this shit, as I come along with it. And for me to obviously, like, whenever I'm planting this garden, I'm like, oh yeah, like I want it to be all natural and everything like that. But then I'm reading like, people are like, add this fertilizer to it. It's going to work a little bit better. But I mean, if you're not trying to like, fall under that completely organic, like, and like pride yourself on that pillar of your business, then it's understandable.
I would say fertilizer. I have no issues with using whatever type of fertilizer you can use.
Yeah.
Pesticides, I would be a little careful with that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used any pesticides like that.
Yeah, some of those can be pretty bad.
Is there natural ways to get things like cabbage, what were they called? Cabbage moths?
The cabbage moth. Yeah, there is. It's actually a bacteria. It's Bacillus. I always butcher the name, Bacillus thuringius or something like that. It's BT. Yeah, there's different product names for it.
You can just buy this stuff at any garden store? Yeah, they have it at Home Depot, Lowe's. Okay.
Yeah, they have them. Yeah, and you spray that on the plant, and then the bugs, the caterpillars eat that, and then they die.
Yeah. Now,
it doesn't hurt. It's not harmful to humans.
Just the caterpillars.
Yeah, they're toast. They don't
just
have a
falling
good life.
off.
Yeah.
Now, for you to, once things are starting ready to be, ripe and getting ready to be harvested, like how. Obviously, this is the fascinating thing that I talked to Triple B about. The guy who does all that was talking about the time frame of planning everything. Mm-hmm. So everything is not just ready at one time, and you have things steadily throughout, and you want it to be ready at the right time. In the beginning, was that like a learning curve you had to kind of deal with?
Yeah, for sure. Because, when we first started doing this stuff, it was like we had gardens like everyone else has a garden. You just plant everything in May.
Yeah.
And then you harvest whatever you harvest whenever it's ready. And then that's it, right? Now back to my massive spreadsheet. I have a plan for, if I start something from seed January 1st.
Yeah.
And it goes in the garden March 15th, I'm going to be starting to harvest it May 15th.
Yeah.
And it's coming out at the end of May.
Is it pretty precise, like down to what it is?
I usually give myself like a week to 2 weeks on either end. So if a harvest window is like 2 weeks, I'll say 4 weeks just to give myself some space. And then I have all that like in a map. So each bed has
where things are.
Has that, kale is going to be here in bed 1 till May 30th. And then immediately after that, I'm flipping that bed into peppers.
So you will grow something in an area, harvest it, and then repurpose that area the same season?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's not a single bed. Not a single bed only gets one thing. So,
I didn't know if that was like something that you would like, if it was a benefit to keep the same vegetable in the same area, or, if there was a benefit to, switching things up.
It's better to rotate, crop rotation.
It would make sense to do that, I feel.
That's a good Google.
Crop rotation.
Crop rotation, yeah.
Okay.
Huh. On a small scale, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah. But on a bigger scale, like you guys are growing a lot of things. Like obviously, probably 99% of the people that are listening to this, they're going to grow a few things for their kitchen.
Right.
So they're not going to be like, man, I got to harvest these tomatoes and then we got to get peppers in there next. Right. But it's curious. It makes me curious to to think about things like that, whether that would be something that would be, so I have this box right here that I grew these peppers in. Mm-hmm. Okay. After everything, was done, I ripped the plants out, tossed them over the hill because they were, sad. And I have the same dirt in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Same dirt as last time. If I want to start planting stuff this weekend, should I leave that same dirt in there or should I replace it?
Leave it.
Leave the same one?
Yeah. Leave it, and you can top it up with compost. That's the best thing to do.
Okay.
Compost, and if you want to put some like all-purpose fertilizer in too.
Yeah.
We do like back to the, crop rotation, like most of our beds get 4 or 5 different things in it over the course of a year.
Wow. What's the earliest thing you harvest?
We were picking
spinach,
Spinach we had in February. That was kind of like a one-off thing. Spinach and carrots we had overwintered, but we planted arugula and baby kale beginning of March, and we were harvesting it like two weeks ago.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
2 weeks ago. I mean, it was like the fastest thing that comes out is probably radishes. They're done in like 4 weeks.
Are you a fan of radishes?
I love radishes.
I'm not a huge radish guy. I think I'm going to start pickling them this year.
Yeah, they're good pickled. Yeah.
They're good when they're pickled. I'm not a big fan when they're regular. Before I forget this, though, I'm curious. Is there a use that you know of for dog shit? I heard my dog bark. I always clean up my dog's yard, and I figure there's no way you could use this in any way. But then you see horse manure, people use manure, things like that. Is there any real use for dog shit?
I've never used it.
Okay. I didn't know if you were hip to some stuff that I might not be, but
I don't know. I mean, just thinking about it, like it's probably not the worst thing, I guess, especially if you're not, I guess the problem is of thinking of using that type of material is like E. coli and
things like that,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was like, you're like, oh yeah, you could toss that in your compost pile.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. You getting dirty there.
Yeah, that's a little.
Okay, well, I mean, I feel like that was.
That's nice. That's good.
It's a legitimate question.
That's what you got to do is try to think.
I always feel like an asshole because it's like, I got 2 dogs and like I'm cleaning up all this, this excrement.
Throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, and you're like, what are you doing with this? And, I asked my wife that before. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But,
I like it.
Yeah, I was curious.
You're thinking outside the box.
I try to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, that's where all this stems from. Now, for you two, you're obviously, you got a full-time job, you got a family, you guys are doing this. This takes up a good bit of your time, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's so my spreadsheet, we also keep track of how many hours it takes to do like a certain task.
How many hours a week are you spending in the garden?
It varies. I mean, we have really hot and heavy times. Like now sucks.
Yeah, I bet.
Like this was not a great time for us to do this podcast, but I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, so I mean,
plus it's raining, so we there's not a whole lot of stuff we could do. Meg's at home potting up tomatoes right now. So
okay, so you guys are in the thick of it right now.
Oh,
though.
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean we have probably 80% of our gardens planted out right now with something.
Jeez, and you guys are getting ready for this sale.
Yep. Yeah, the sale is May 7th and 8th. We do online orders. We do online orders as well as we'll do some live pickups on the 7th and 8th at our place.
What's the website?
CCRGardens.com.
Okay, so this is going to come out in a week. This is going to come out on the 28th. Okay, so people could order, and then they will be able to pick up from your garden on the 6th or the 7th?
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th?
Saturday and Sunday. It's Mother's, I think it's Mother's Day weekend.
Who knows?
I know, who knows?
But up right up in McKeesport, right up in White Oak, huh?
Yep. You can go on our website and find all the information there. So what did you say this is going to post on the 28th?
Yeah, this is coming out the 28th.
Okay. Yeah,
Thursday the 28th.
Yeah, so we shut down online orders early the week before. So as long as you get your orders in before I'd say Monday the 2nd.
Yeah. You'll be good to go.
It'll be good to go for orders. Now we're going to have
extras that people could just pull up and grab, right?
Yeah. And then
but if you want to put if you want to get your selections down and get your stuff set aside where you can just pull up, grab your stuff and be gone.
Yep.
That's what you should do online.
For sure.
What's the website?
CCRGardens.com.
One more time.
CCRGardens.com.
Okay, go to CCRGardens.com if you want to buy some seedlings. Now, on there, I seen you had all these seedlings. You got honey. You got bundles of firewood if you need it. You got merchandise, some swag.
Yeah.
You guys are, pretty legitimate up there.
I brought you some swag.
I'm pumped about it. I'm pumped about that hat.
We put a post up one time where we just do this for the swag. I'm
dude, I wear
my stuff.
This is literally my shirt. The only reason I'm wearing this shirt is because it's fitting for what we're doing.
That's nice.
I usually wear, I'm usually a billboard for my own stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right? I'm a walking billboard. That's exactly it. And I'm happy with the stuff that I designed. So, I wear it out.
Right.
It's, you got to, but for you to, it's interesting because this appeals to me. And I feel like that it appeals to a good bit of people, in our generation because I see so many people trying to navigate towards that homesteading lifestyle, whether it's getting chickens in Northside or goats or things like that. It's just, this is honestly stuff that I am so interested in. Yep. I feel that it's so important for you to be, I want to be as in touch with things as I can. I eventually want to be able to hunt all my own shit and just have that, it's a slow process, but it'll get there at some point.
My best advice is just do something.
Yeah. You got to do something,
just do
right?
Anything be the crazy chicken lady, be the crazy plant lady, plant guy.
I saw that on your website. You said you guys are pumped whenever you and your kids see other crazy plant people.
Yeah,
whenever you're driving by.
Yeah,
that's cool though. It's cool.
You stop. You see the garden and you're slowing down. You're like, what do they got?
It's awesome that you getting your kids into this early and they're learning all this because and that they have an interest in it because I said, it was work for me back then. I didn't retain anything that I learned.
Yeah,
but hindsight's 2020. But
the firewood thing is their little side hustle.
That's theirs.
Yeah,
I love that.
So obviously they're not running chainsaws and stuff like that. But
no, their 9-year-old ain't ripping a chainsaw.
He wants to.
You got to let it eventually, right?
But they help out with the bundling and all that stuff, and we have a little stand up at the top of the farm that the neighbors and stuff, if they're having a fire, they'll pick up.
That's awesome.
They'll pick up a bundle and put the money in a cash box, old school style like that.
Yeah, that's just an honor system.
Honor system in the port.
Love that.
Yeah.
Don't be stealing that money box.
That.
Don't be stealing nothing, you pieces of shit. No, but so on Saturdays you're at Renzi's Farmer Market.
Yep.
9 to 1 on Saturdays. When does that start?
That starts, I think it's the first Saturday in June.
First Saturday in June, and you guys are there every week.
Every week.
And what do you got there?
Everything.
Everything.
Well, okay. So, I mean, we can do all of our vegetables, which we have on any given day. We probably have at least 15 to 20 different varieties of things.
Yeah.
So, it's all your normals. We have like 3 or 4 different types of greens. When tomatoes are in, we obviously have those. Pepper, same thing. And then we have the kohlrabi, the cabbage, the spinach, the peas and beans, and
you told
radishes.
me your most lucrative crop was the lettuce. What is your most popular selling?
Lettuce.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Our spring mix, yeah.
I wouldn't guess that.
Because it's just so much better than what you get in the store.
I know.
It's insane.
It really is crazy what the difference is. I mean, me and my wife are like, we're complete marks where we're farmer market people.
Yeah.
Even if we don't need shit, we just stop by, we'll buy this jam, all this random stuff because it just feels better than going to Giant Eagle.
Our favorite type of customer.
I know. I love it because you're just like, man, this is the best. We have a camp right up by Erie.
Okay.
And they have like in Westfield, they have like this farmer's market there every Saturday. And you go there and it's just like, I love the art of the exchange.
Right.
I love that someone is bringing a product here. You could tell the passion is coming through them. The people that you're asking to excuse me at Giant Eagle, then people hate their lives. They don't want to be there right then and there. You're growing this stuff with your family.
You're asking what type of lettuce is it?
They don't know. I want to be able to ask you, what's up with that grub? What's up with that grub butterfly or grub moth or cabbage moth? It's like, how's that cabbage moth doing this year?
Yeah, how many of the kids how are they up to?
You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It just feels funner to be involved in that way.
It's awesome sharing stories too. Like, I mean, we get, I love these questions because it's the kind of stuff that we get all the time.
I knew people were going to start submitting a bunch of stuff because, I feel like that I'm your typical consumer. You know what I mean? I'm a generic typical consumer. I feel like that anyone that's listening is going to want to know the shit that I'm asking because it's just random, stuff that no one really knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are your goals for the garden? I mean, obviously it's in process. You guys are working to your goals, but do you have an ultimate goal? Like, do you want to get to a certain level and that's what you're planning to get to, or you're just enjoying the ride?
So we're kind of like probably the past couple of years, we've been at a little bit of a crossroads. Like, what are we going to do with this? Because we're starting to get big enough that not that I could quit my day job or anything like that. Like,
that's the goal though, right?
You start your own business. That's
what you want to do.
That's what you want to do.
I want to quit my job. People that I work with, they listen to this. He listens to this all the time. My goal is to quit my job so I could do this podcast the full time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that anyone that doesn't understand that is,
well, if that's not your goal, then it's not.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing with it?
I mean, you can say it's a passion, but it's not.
Yeah.
Really,
there's that certain level that there's that threshold that you cross that is a goal, you know, from a passion project to what you want to work towards.
No, I'm going to be smart. Like, I'm not going to quit my job and put my kids out. Sorry guys.
What's your wife do?
Dad wants to play in the dirt.
What's your wife do?
She's home with the kids.
Okay, there you go.
So she probably puts in more hours than I do.
Oh my God.
The farm.
I couldn't even imagine.
I guess back to your question, I think I averaged it out. It's pretty much about one person full time. It's like one full time equivalent over the course of the year. So, it's like we on normal weeks, we probably half and half. So it's like 20 hours a week for each of us.
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, on the weekends, we're down there pretty much the whole time. So
plus you're right there. I mean, that's awesome that you were able to it would be, I feel like it being so close to your home is such a benefit because if I had a studio that I had to drive a half hour to or something like that, I would hate it.
So when we were looking at land, that was one of our options where, we would just buy land and then just have the farm there and stay at the house. And Meg's, she's so happy that we didn't do that because we would never go.
It would suck.
We would never go. There'd be weeds everywhere. It would just be a big mess. We would hate going out there.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing it smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to be close to it.
Yeah.
So, your goals of this, You know, you said you're at the crossroads.
So, I mean, so what we're doing right now is last year and this year is really trying to optimize everything that we do.
Yeah.
So like
Fine tune everything.
And then like not record, but document what it takes to do even the menial tasks so that at some point we can, like my ultimate goal, like I would love to be able to have employees work for us.
Absolutely.
Like I'd love to be that for a business owner, like that's one of the best things you can
Hell
have,
yeah.
like you're employing people,
Absolutely.
especially in our area, you know?
Yeah. You always wanted to stay in McKeesport?
Yeah. I've never had any desire to really leave.
That's cool. I like that.
When I was in Penn State, Happy Valley was pretty sweet, but
Yeah, but you always want to come home.
Yeah.
Once a tiger, always a tiger.
That's right. Got to keep our roots.
Got to keep the roots though, but it is cool to be able to like be, you know, close to where you grew up and, you know, put some roots down there.
Yeah, and it has some benefits too with the business because we like a lot of people know us. They know our family. They
Absolutely.
Know.
I didn't even think about that. McKeesport's such a small town. Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone knows everyone.
That's good and bad.
Yes.
Now, for you two, you know, did you ever want to do anything besides this? I know you said you went to Penn State to be, you know, civil engineer.
So the Penn State thing, yeah. I mean, I actually went to Penn State to be an electrical engineer, and then my very first class up there, EE 101 or whatever it was, I was like, this is not for me. I mean, I had like a midlife crisis up there because it was hard to get into anything else.
Yeah.
And agriculture and biological engineering was like one of the only engineering that was open and offering positions. So I'm like, I don't even know what this is because, again, I didn't grow up on a farm or anything like that. I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm going to be
That's my most fascinating thing to ask.
Like what? Like what am I doing? And then I met with the dean, and he started going through all the different things that, you know, you can focus on biology, you can get into pharmaceuticals, you can get into the farm machinery, mechanical engineering, you can get into the natural resources part of things with streams and wetlands and, you know, stormwater management and stuff like that. And that's the path that I kind of went down because that was the closest to civil engineering, you know, culverts and stream design and all that stuff. So that's what I focused in. And then, you know, I kind of switched over to more, once I got in the workforce, it was more just straight civil engineering.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's weird how the world takes us.
Yeah.
Now you're a gardener full time. I mean, not full time, but you know, you look like a gardener full time. That's for sure.
Thanks.
You're supplementing with your full time job. You're supplementing your passion.
Yeah.
That's the goals in life. I love that.
That's it.
I like that. Okay. So you think that I didn't cover anything? You think I covered pretty much everything? Do you want to get to the ending segment? What did I miss? Anything that I missed that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just like what you said. It's just a passion. We get our hands dirty every single day. That's my motto.
All right. Let's get to the ending segment. The ending segment is a segment that I do with everyone called Desert Island Questions. Desert Island Questions, whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island until they starve to death and die. So, first category to use on a desert island is 3 movies. You get 3 movies to be stuck on a desert island to watch over and over and over again for the rest of your life.
Oh, man. I'm not a movie guy.
Really?
No.
Never been?
Not really.
Do you watch TV?
Never been. We watch, we watch we watch stuff. Like I would say probably
you got some movies.
Marvel stuff.
Oh, you're into Marvel?
Because of kids.
Okay. You don't have like a favorite movie.
Over that.
You don't have like a favorite movie as a child? Really? All right, that's fair.
I'm sorry. So if I had to pick, just make it simple. Like
pick.
You know, three Marvel movies. Spider-Man. Am I by myself or am I with the
by
kids?
yourself?
I don't know.
By yourself.
It's super hard, man.
You got to answer it. Everyone, literally, I made Sally Wiggin answer this question.
What was her answers?
Her answer was a movie that I never seen that was like 3 hours long. A movie about a dog that was rescued, and then something else. I've had people say everything.
Dude, I'm not like I can't think of anything. I'm not a movie guy. I can't sit in the same place for 2 hours.
That's fair. What about
how long has this been going on?
2 hours. Okay. What about do you watch sports or anything?
Yeah, I'll watch sports.
What kind of sports do you like watching? You a football guy?
Yeah, I watch football. I used to be huge into sports. Basketball. I played basketball, so that was my big thing. But it's a lot less now.
You ever see He Got Game?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's fire.
Yeah, maybe I'll take that one on.
Come on, got to, right? Jesus Shuttlesworth. Okay, so I'll let you off the hook with the movies then.
I can't think of any because any that I say would just be really stupid.
What does that mean? Any like what?
Like real cheesy. Like
humor me.
Okay, so our Meg and I, our first date was we went to the movies and saw Incredibles.
Why is that cheesy?
If I'm by myself,
why is that cheesy?
If I'm by myself, that's one of the movies I would want to watch.
That's a great answer.
Just because I don't like movies.
The Incredibles is great.
That would at least give me good thoughts.
That's a good answer.
So there's one.
Okay.
And then the other one would be probably like Spider-Man because that's Carter's favorite.
Which one did you like? They have 9 different Spider-Man.
There's so many of them. The newer ones.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of them. I was never a Marvel. I mean, like, I'm not a Marvel guy. I've watched Iron Man 1 and 2, and then Spider-Man 1 and 2, the originals, and never anything else.
Okay.
I need to get into it, though.
You mean like the old Spider-Man or the new?
Tobey Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man.
You got to watch the new ones, man.
I know. Everyone's
really good.
Everyone says that they're amazing.
They're really good. I mean, I could pick 3 Marvel movies. That's
all right. We don't have to watch any Marvel movies. Now, a second question, I held up 3, but second question I usually ask is 3 books to take. Are you a reader?
Yeah, I read.
Okay. 3 books.
I mean, they would be 3 gardening books.
That's fair because that's fitting to be stuck on a desert island.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You need them. You
have them offhand?
Yeah, Elliot Coleman has 2 or 3. I would take one from him. Jean-Martin Fortier that I mentioned before, The Market Gardener. I mean, because it just has all the information. Like I could read that over and over again.
Yeah.
If I was on an island, it would probably be one of the ones that have more information, like
on a hotter climate.
There's one that's like forest gardening or something like that. I can't remember the
that's fine
title exactly, but it's something like that.
You got to answer this next one. Next one is 3 CDs. You said you were putting in systems growing up, so I know that you're a music guy.
Oh man,
you get a anti-skip.
I'll be all over the place.
Discman, and you get 3 CDs.
3 CDs. Okay, one's not system worthy, but Sturgill Simpson.
Okay.
Really, any of his. I guess his the third one. I can't remember the name of it. Metamorphic Sounds or something like that.
All right.
That was really good. I'm more of a country guy now, I guess, like real country. I'd have to go with some kind of rap. One of the rap albums. Probably Tupac.
Tupac?
Probably.
It's another weird thing.
All Eyes on Me or
about
something.
People from McKeesport. Everyone was a Tupac fan over a Biggie fan.
I know.
100%. And it's weird to me because I was always a Biggie fan over a Tupac.
Like when I listen to him now, I think Biggie's better.
Do you though?
Yeah.
I think the lyrics.
Pac's hard as shit. Like Pac.
The lyrics are still there, but Biggie is just like.
Or as a rapper.
Raw.
Yeah.
You know, there's poetry and then there's just raw shit.
That's it.
That's what it is.
I got one more.
Yeah, one more.
Let's just make it crazy. Probably like Korn or Smashing Pumpkins or something like that. Something from
Smashing
all
Pumpkins.
over the place.
That's they're underrated.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of people say.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Those are good answers.
That's a good one.
So
That's
you got Smashing Pumpkins, you got Tupac, and you got Sturgill Simpson.
Is that all over the place or what?
I mean, that's a great, that's a really great variety. Because if you're just stuck there for the rest of your life, some people will be like, I'm going to pick, 3, J. Cole albums or something like that. And you're like, what?
Stupid.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Same thing all over
J.
again.
Cole, he got about 4 hard songs. Anyway.
I don't even know who J. Cole is, man.
Really? He's a new end.
I don't know any new.
You don't listen to any new rap at all or anything like that? I know.
Other than what the kids listen to. But, But hey, so my kids, they're listening to Eminem now.
Really?
Yeah, like Eminem's cool.
Like the new Eminem or the old school original stuff?
All.
Now,
all of the above.
As a father, you got a 9-year-old. Do you let him listen to the uncensored Eminem?
Only clean. Well, I catch him every once in a while.
Catch him every once in a while. It's probably hard
He was
now.
texting me. Well, what's the one where he raps super fast? Godzilla,
Rap God.
Rap God.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because it's like, you know, back then, I remember having to go to a store and buy a CD, and if you were a parental advisory, you were screwed.
Yeah.
But now kids just have phones with
YouTube.
Apple Music, YouTube, and stuff like that, and you're like, what are you listening to?
So he has a pad, and he texted me. He's like, "Dad, listen how fast this is," and he sent me the
That's the best.
raw version, and I'm like, "Bud," I was like, "There's a lot of F words in there, man." He's like, "Ooh." He's like, I didn't realize I couldn't hear them. They were going so fast.
That's good though. It's probably fun as a dad to, like, you know, have kids getting to that point where they're getting old enough where you're like, you know, they're about to start getting into some mischief and,
Yeah.
you know, listening to the bad stuff. Maybe hear swear words slip out every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, like my dad loved whenever we started listening to the Doors and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they got some. It's not Eminem or anything like that, but
it's some of the stuff that's pushing the envelope.
pushing the envelope.
That's good stuff, though.
But he appreciated that. Same with me. I'm like, yeah, Eminem.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like
shady.
you're my kids are listening to Eminem now. Do you feel old?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah? It's interesting. I'm starting to get there. I'm 31, but you know, for I'd say the last year or two, like I'm starting to realize that, like, I'm about to be 40 soon at some point.
Yeah. So I've had some. You know, whenever you're young, you get hurt and you're fine in like a week.
Oh yeah.
You know, you twist an ankle or something like
If
that.
I sleep on my bed wrong, my back hurts for a week.
I've had stuff the past couple years. Like I had a hand thing that I had like tendonitis
Just
in my hand
old
and
falling
shit.
apart.
Old shit. Yeah. My shoulder was messed up. For
Just
a while.
dumb stuff that
Yeah.
you're like, my foot hurts.
It wouldn't get better, and I had to go get a cortisone shot. I'm like, geez, like what? I got a hip thing going on.
Hilarious.
With the garden. Yeah.
That's what my
Get
wife
old.
was like, my hip's messed up. I'm 29 years old.
I
My
know.
hip's messed up.
Yeah. Hip
All right.
replacement.
Third to last question is something called the death row meal. So the death row meal is whenever you know, this is your last meal before you get put to death. You get whatever you want, as much as you want from wherever you want. You get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert, and a
Okay.
beverage.
First, you got the Undertaker shout out there.
Amen.
Yeah, we're
Shout out to
big
Ralph.
WWE guys.
Oh yeah, you still watch it?
Oh, big time.
Wow.
We don't miss it.
Really?
Kids love it.
Wow. How is it compared to what it was? Were you
I
into
mean, it's not
heavy back
Stone
then?
Cold. It's not Stone Cold and Rock.
You were heavy back then?
Not heavy. I watched it.
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Wow.
We would go over like my neighbor's house to watch the pay-per-views.
Did you go to Raw that just passed?
No.
I knew a lot of people that went to that. Probably be fun to go to an event like that.
That would be fun.
I don't like going to
We went to one last year, I guess. They had a live show. It wasn't a taped show.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've been there.
We actually parked in the back of Melon, or not Melon.
Melon. PPG.
Yeah, I feel old. PPG. We parked in the back where they all came in, and the kids got to see some of the
that's
guys
cool.
pull in.
That's super
Rey
cool.
Mysterio.
So
and
they're
his
into
son.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
my
awesome.
youngest is super into it. They call it Cold Train.
When's WrestleMania? It just happened?
It just happened like 3 weeks ago.
Who won?
So Roman Reigns. Do you know that?
He had
name?
cancer, right? And he stepped away for a while?
Yeah.
And he came back and won?
He's been on top forever. Like he's the new guy.
I think the last time I was watching it is whenever I feel like I remember the last moment where I turned it off and I was like, I'm done with it. It was whenever Carlito Cool bit an apple and spit it in someone's face, and I was like, this is it. I'm done
So
with it.
my kids do that.
Do
They do the apple thing outside.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 9.
Like
you
an
can't beat
apple
it.
off the
9 and
tree.
5. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What was the question?
death row meal,
Death row meal. So
Yeah.
appetizer.
appetizer,
Well, I guess I got to keep it garden related. I guess, right?
if you want to.
Either that or I can go with Yoli Rollies.
Oh, shout out to Benny.
Benny's the man.
Benny is the man.
He buys some stuff off of us.
I mean,
Sometimes.
Ben Bartleson, Yoli's Rollies, well, not Yoli's Rollies, but Ben Bartleson up at Yoli's, Jefferson Hills. Get hip to it.
Yeah.
He's been on here.
Yeah.
Great guy. People don't know about it. Get hip.
Beth does she does the most amazing stuff with our basil and stuff like that. She'll buy stuff. She does those
The boards.
The board, yeah.
Insane.
the grazing tables.
Boards by Beth.
Boards by Beth, yeah. She does some really cool stuff. So let's go with Yoli Rollies for
Amen.
appetizers. See, I'm not a steak guy.
Me either. I'm not a steak guy. People pick a steak and a potato all the time. It's the last thing I would pick.
I would pick like a really great burger with a salad, like a as fresh as you can get salad, obviously from CCR Gardens.
It's 1,000,000% what I would choose over a steak.
Like a great burger.
I love a burger.
Whatever you want on it.
Oh yeah. Do you have a pretty good burger that you know of offhand? I swear that I feel like that I've had the best burger that I've had in the city recently.
We don't eat out a lot.
No?
Mm-mm. So we make them.
Besides for Yoli's.
Where's the best one? Yeah, we'll go to Yoli's.
Cinderlands Brewery.
Cinderlands.
It's a brewery down in Lawrenceville.
Okay.
It was a Wagyu beef burger, smash burger.
Yeah.
And, people were gassing it up. They were like, oh, it's the best. It's the best. So I was like, I'll get it.
Yeah.
It is impeccable.
Really?
Absolutely impeccable.
Like compared to Burgatory, because I've been there.
Burgatory is trash compared to this.
Really?
Trash. I hate Burgatory burgers.
I like Fatheads.
Fatheads, I haven't been there in a long time, but they had a good burger. But I'm telling you, Cinderlands Burger,
all right.
They even have a dining room upstairs. You take the kids there, can all eat. But this is how I know that all their food was delicious. I'm not a big pesto guy. My wife got a pesto flatbread, and I was like blown away by it. But I tried their crunch wrap. They make a gourmet crunch wrap there. The whole thing was banging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're probably going to go there tomorrow, actually. But their burger is top tier.
Nice. We'll have to check that out.
Oh, yeah.
You just reminded me pesto. So we at the market, we do we partner up with a bread bakery too.
Which one?
Bread Share Bakehouse. They're out of Manor.
Bread Share Bakehouse.
Irwin, yeah. Yeah, it's actually another engineer that works for me. He started his own bakery.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, so he does pre-orders and they pick up downtown Irwin every week.
That's dope.
But then we'll get a bunch of stuff off of him and sell it at the
farmers market and stuff.
And he makes this focaccia bread that is like,
oh yeah.
We make the pesto and we get the focaccia off of him and put the pesto on it. Oh,
crazy.
Maybe some cherry tomatoes on there.
It's wild how much the flavor is different compared to if you buy shit in the store.
Yeah. Compared
to like if you're going out and you're getting it fresh.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
It really is. Just by the peppers because I remember I bought peppers as these were recouping and I was making more hot sauce just to try to fine tune my batch. I bought peppers from Giant Eagle and you could taste it. They tasted like watered down.
Yeah, it's like water, yeah.
Yeah. Why is that? Is it because they froze them at one point?
So a lot of the stuff they pick too early.
Yeah.
So that it lasts longer. So they'll pick like tomatoes. They pick them all like completely green.
I guess that would make sense.
And they'll actually ship them. So when they're green, they're easier to ship. They don't bruise.
So whenever they get to the store, that's when they ripen.
They'll actually, a lot of the trucks have gas in them, ethylene gas that they pump in that makes it ripe. Like, so the stuff's like 90% of the stuff that you buy from the store comes from California.
Yeah.
As far as produce goes. So they have these trucks driving from California, and I don't know when, but somewhere in the Midwest, they turn the gas on.
That is crazy.
And then when they show up, everything's perfectly right.
That is wild to me.
Yeah. So that's the big reason.
Jeez.
For the taste.
Wow. That's interesting to think about that. That's wild. Side question. If you have to go to a grocery store around here, who do you think has the best produce?
We shop Aldi's kind of religiously.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they have the best produce.
It's not the best all the time.
Best value?
Yeah, best value for sure. But whenever their shit is on, it's on and it's fantastic. But sometimes it's hit or miss. But I feel that they do have the best.
Yeah, we do.
I like it.
We do Aldi's, like Aldi's is the first run, and then if there's anything,
Giant Eagle's cool, but it's like you're cutting off an arm and a leg if you want anything there.
Yeah, a couple bags, and it's like $100.
I'm trying to get that sponsorship from Giant Eagle. You
better
get a little ad read, slide me a little gas card or something.
Do a little better job than that.
I know, right? Backhanded compliment. Okay, dessert.
Dessert.
Yeah, you dessert guy?
I'm a sweets guy.
Me too.
Not necessarily a dessert guy. I'm more of a candy guy.
What kind?
Anything like straight sugar.
Are you a chocolate guy or like a nerds type?
Nerds and like you're a chocolate guy.
Savage. Yeah, people that are like
Smarties. Like my wife hates me for eating Smarties. She's like, it's like chalk. I'm like,
I'm not
"It's so
10 years
good."
old anymore.
Dude, I'm a kid, dude. I steal the kids' Easter candy.
That's probably the best part about having a kid right now is you get the excuse to go around. Haler Heights was the shit back then to get candy
For Halloween.
Oh yeah. Was it still banging up there a little bit?
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It was pretty big.
Some full bars.
There you go. There you go. A couple full bars.
A couple
up there.
Turner's teas.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Turner's. Damn, I got the Turner's limited edition milk. Are you a milk drinker?
I'm not, but my youngest son is like religious about it. I heard.
Has he had it?
Good things now.
I'll give you one to take home with him.
Okay.
I got a few in the fridge. Okay, so what are you gonna pick? About box of nerds for death row meal?
No.
Box of
My mom
Smarties.
makes some pretty bomb strawberry pretzel salad.
Oh my god,
It's really good. It would go up against anybody's.
strawberry pretzel salad.
Bomb.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real good. Okay, that's a good answer. Second to last question: if you are getting ready to go on a road trip and you go into old Lampert's and you have to get a snack for the road trip, what would it be?
The all organic farmer combos.
Combos,
Man.
Dude, so many people pick combos.
They're easy to eat.
What flavor?
We usually get a couple different kinds.
What do you prefer?
I like the buffalo wing one, but they stink.
Yeah, they do. I do enjoy the
Smell
buffalo.
like feet.
But the old go-to, the pizzas.
Yeah,
you can't really
pizzas are
beat
good.
them.
I'll
Can't
go with
beat
pizza.
them. That reminds me of
the pretzel pizza ones.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Those are real good. Okay, last question that I ask everyone: if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
See, I should have thought about these beforehand.
I don't tell anyone for that reason.
I usually don't make it. No offense, I don't make it all the way through your podcast.
That's all right. They're long ones.
They're long. I listen to 1 hour and then I go to the next one.
That's fine.
So I don't know about these questions. So you're catching me good.
I do have to say, an hour is right whenever shit starts getting good in a lot of them.
Maybe I should just start at the hour mark.
I mean,
or just listen to the whole thing.
You
Come
should,
on, man.
Come on now. That's all right though.
Probably my grandfather.
That's fair.
The one that
was a gardener beforehand.
because he was a little on the older side when I was growing up. He had dementia, and didn't really spend a lot of time with him. He used to take us fishing and stuff like that. But
How old was he when he passed?
I think he was probably.
Or how old were you? I meant.
I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah, that's whenever my pap passed. And
Yeah.
you don't take advantage of the time that you have with them.
I mean, he was a father of 8 kids.
8.
Yeah.
My God.
He worked in the mill. He obviously had his gardens and stuff like that. Like it'd have been cool to.
My pap
It
had
would've been cool to
6.
talk to him,
Worked
like-
in the mill. Still had his mill tag, his
Yeah.
original mill tag on his key,
Yeah.
on his keychain. I do. I think about it all the time. Now, if it wasn't a loved one, and you could pick anyone else, who would it be? Coach George Smith? No, I'm just kidding.
I see him every once in a while.
Is he still around?
Yeah, I think he's still around.
I swear to God, I thought about getting him up on here.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It would be awesome, but it probably wouldn't go that well. I remember one time
It could go really well, or it could be
pretty crazy.
a dud.
I remember one time he was under
Might
some
choke
heat.
slam you.
He was under some heat because I guess the football team messed up some way, and he made them run laps with weights above their head. And I remember being like 10 or 11, and parents being like besides themselves, thinking that was like torture or some shit.
Yeah.
And realistically, that ain't nothing. But
right compared to what they were doing. And I'm not good at these kind of things.
that's all right. That's why I ask him. Can you imagine me pressuring Sally Wiggin to answer these questions?
What was her answer? I keep seeing what.
Her answer was maybe Jane Goodall or something.
Okay.
Or someone like that. She's a big animal activist.
I mean, I could be like, I could be cheesy and say one of these guys, the market gardener guys that I follow, and that would be pretty sweet. But I don't know that would be like my number one pick. It would probably be somebody more influential, like.
I ask everyone,
Like
you're about to be
president or
203
something.
or 204. Okay, so I've had people give me all different answers. Everyone from Randy Marsh from South Park to Jesus Christ. But
Yeah, so this is fictional too. You can
anyone alive or dead, it doesn't matter what it is.
Randy
But
Marsh.
I kind of develop mine changes all the time. And I'd say my top 3 that I keep going back to all the time would be Richard Pryor, Robin Williams.
Those are good ones.
They are good, but
Those
like
are really good ones.
it would be also awesome to talk to like someone like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking more like one of the wartime presidents or something would be really cool.
It would be wild.
Like,
people picked Lincoln and shit a lot.
Yeah. Lincoln. I think I'll go with Lincoln.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Someone said that, and I was like, that would be pretty good. Be a good answer. You ever watch that Daniel Day-Lewis movie?
No.
You're not a movie guy.
No, not a movie guy.
All right. I appreciate you coming over and talking to me while you're busy.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us, and I'm glad I made the trip out here.
What'd you think about this? As someone who's never done a podcast.
It was cool. It was relaxing.
Relaxed?
Yeah.
Way more relaxed than you thought?
I was way nervous at first, but
I was way nervous at first.
way nervous.
That's why people need to listen to all the podcasts, because in an hour, that's when everyone starts getting all lubed up.
I'm hearing everybody that's nervous.
Finish your beer, and then you're just like, oh yeah, we're talking about cabbage moths.
Beer is pretty good.
Oh yeah, shout out to Trace Brewing.
Trace Brewing.
Oh yeah, over in there in Bloomfield. But take a second, promote everything you could promote, the seed sale, where people could get you, where people could find you, where you're located, whole nine.
Yeah, so again, ccrgardens.com is our website. We keep it pretty active. We're very active on social media, Facebook, Instagram. You just search for CCR Gardens, you'll find us. The kids have been trying to do a YouTube thing. Yeah, we're starting to put on some videos.
You should.
So that's kind of cool.
I would tell them to get on TikTok, but it's
TikTok,
disgusting.
I don't like TikTok.
Yeah, but
TikTok's where it's at though.
It's where it's at, but it's like almost the most consumable type of video, because you could do all your production through a phone or an iPad. But if you got a YouTube, there's kind of a little bit more to it.
It's take the video.
But I would much rather keep them away from TikTok as long as you can.
Because TikTok's bad for me. I don't
terrible.
go on there and I'm like, what the hell?
You're just looking at stuff for an hour.
It never goes away.
Oh, it's terrible. And if you Google something, it just caters you, so it keeps bringing you back in.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. CCR Gardens.
CCRgardens.com. Check us out on social media. Our website, if you go on there, the first thing that'll pop up, it'll ask for your email. We don't spam people, but we do give, like, our first information goes to our email list. So
yeah,
get on our email. We've noticed on Facebook, man, Facebook's like throttling people, especially companies now.
What do you mean?
Like, we were getting likes and hits on our posts, and we've paid for a couple promotions here and there.
Yeah.
Like we paid to put the seed sale. We got a promotion out so it gets to more people.
Yeah.
And I think whenever they start seeing people paying, they cut your normal feed down.
Yeah, dude.
So it doesn't get seen.
You're literally just, the game is rigged.
It's insane.
The game is rigged right now. Today, I posted an episode of Cody, got barely any likes. The other day I posted something. It was a picture that I posted of me literally at my work taking a picture of myself in a mirror. And I was like, ain't no one going to do this. It blew up.
Yeah, it blows up. It makes no sense. Like we were getting like, you could see how many views you get. It was like in the thousands.
As someone,
not high thousands, but 1,000.
Yeah, but
and then these recent ones, they've been like 30.
Yeah, it's
like, what is going on?
I know, it's ridiculous. And then you read into things like that and you're like, this is, how can you even keep up with all this? I was reading something the other day that if you use the same hashtags over and over again, they start to think that you're like a bot. Mm-hmm. So your stuff does get throttled. And then you're like, what am I doing?
Well, I was listening to another podcast. I travel to Kentucky a lot, so that I'm going to catch up on more of your stuff. But,
okay.
We were trying to figure this out. So I was listening to a different one, and they were saying that, you want to try to minimize the links away from Facebook. So like Facebook's whole business model is keeping you on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So like you want stuff that's interesting, but not so interesting that they're going to go click on your website link.
Yeah.
Or go to Instagram, I guess is owned by Facebook too, but
that makes sense.
But you want stuff that's
going to keep them in
and get them scrolling to the next ad on their feed.
Makes me sick.
It's pretty tough.
Disgusting.
So we're trying to not move away from Facebook, but grow our email list so that we can get direct to people.
So go on ccrgardens.com, put your email in.
Yep.
You'll get updates on everything.
Yep.
The seedling sale is going on right now.
Yep. Go on there and order your stuff. You can either pay directly online. We take any credit cards, PayPal, or you can click pay it, pick up. I think it's offline payment. I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And you can just pay cash when you pick up.
And you got about 4 days left to make any of your orders ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then
to
the 2nd.
Yeah, so it's 28th. You got about 4 days. Yep. So get your order in this weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll be seeing you up there. I'm going to stop by that weekend.
And then first weekend of June, we're at Renzi Market.
All right. Everyone else that's listening, I appreciate it as usual. Each and every week, we're back with a great guest, learning about good things that will benefit us all in this world. And I appreciate it. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Spotify has recently integrated a reviewing capability. If you love me, if you enjoy the podcast, throw me a 5-star review. Thanks for listening. Call you right back.